Hello, everyone, and a happy new year. Welcome to draft day here on the Dyl Pickle Movie Network. It is 2024, but I'm not putting the glasses on yet because we still have to say farewell to 2023. And to do it, we are doing another draft. We did this last January, and it was a huge success. We're doing it again this January, where we're talking about the best stuff of 2023, the best stuff that we're looking forward to in 2024. And yeah, I have four other people here to draft some topics with me. Starting off, of course, host of the channel, Matt Chapmond. What's up, Matt?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm great. We just
It
chatted.
seems,
You
yeah, it's
out
like I
there.
haven't
Yeah,
seen you in
right,
a day or in the
right.
last 12
Yes.
hours.
All the people on this stream I've talked to very, very recently, whether it be on stream or otherwise. So it's like not like I'm really catching up with anyone, but it's still nice. It's gonna be a nice kind of like postmortem on the year. So
But go watch Framewreck. We recorded it last night.
yes,
It
go
came
watch
out.
Framewreck. And also, this is airing before this one comes out, but watch Picture This as well, because you'll also see Chad, or as he says, I'm just Chad, and Elliot's here as well. Hey, what's up, Chad and Elliot?
Sup, bro? I got the drunk guys back. You know, I don't know what to do with him sometimes. He just stumbles around the house. And he insisted I hold him. So sometimes he does, though.
I
You
love
got a
this.
problem,
I
kid.
insist you hold me also, Chad.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Come on
Matt,
over.
Matt gets dibs next. Sit on Santa's lap. Well, Chad, thank you for joining us as always. You're
Thanks.
always offering great insight. You and Matt both are on a lot of draft days, but we always appreciate your commentary. As for some guests who aren't always on draft day, but we have seen some of them before elsewhere. We have seen one of these panelists on draft day before. She's returning, making her 2024 debut on the channel. It's Carly, the Spooky Witch. How's it going, Carly?
Good. I love your 2024 glasses. They're
Thank
amazing.
you. I actually got them on New Year's. I worked New Year's in Times Square, so I was able to kind of like pick the crowd afterwards and see what people left behind, and these were there. So
They're beautiful.
thank you. I can't see in them. They make me feel drunk, like so I can't. But how you doing, Carly?
I'm good. I'm excited to pick some movies and some shows, and
Yes.
it'll be a lot of fun.
And thank you for rescheduling your zone of interest screening for this.
Oh,
It
of
really
course.
it makes me very
So
honored.
spoiler, no zone of interest scenes or anything that I'm going to be picking.
Yeah, it's okay. It might show up on other people's lists. We'll see. Also joining us for the first time ever on draft day, but you have seen him on Picture This and elsewhere on the channel. It is Dan Skip Allen. What's up, Dan?
Hey, nothing much. Glad to be here. The food one I was gonna be on the food one. Then I guess I didn't get the gist of it, and then I was like, I don't think I want to do it, and then realized, I probably could have done the food one, and I didn't even realize. My brain was processing it after the fact, and I'm like, man, this doesn't seem like a bad idea after all. So when this one came up, I was like,
For sure.
Of course,
You see so many movies and so many shows. I mean, more than all of us combined. So, this is going to be great. Dan's a film critic in Orlando for anyone who hasn't seen him yet on this channel. So we're very excited to have him. And because I know you're a sports fan, Dan, and this kind of has a sports vibe to it. I mean, we're drafting stuff like it is a fantasy draft. So let's get right into it. I didn't actually type up the rules for this one, but I'll tell you all what you need to pick. It's 5 rounds. Everyone's going to get one of each category. You don't have to go in order. You can pick whatever you want. And the 5 categories today are 1 2023 movie, 1 most anticipated 2024 movie, and then 1 2023 series or season. If the whole series took place in that year, then you can take the whole series if it's like a mini series. If not, just take that season of television, so the other seasons are eligible from future years. 1 MVP of the year, someone who really just epitomized the film and TV scene of that year, or it could be a single individual performance that you think just stood out above the rest. Whoever you want to honor is like your MVP performer of that year. And then, of course, a scene. This could be from film or television, but a scene that happened that you thought was just the best scene of the year. Because that can differ from our favorite movies. Sometimes bad movies can have like that one good scene or vice versa. I'm very, very excited.
Watch Framewreck.
We watch Framewreck. We will do a snake draft order to determine the order of this draft. Does anyone have any questions, though, about the draft in general? Oh, and don't tip picks. So if like someone hasn't brought up a future movie yet, don't bring it up. Even though Chad, by wearing his shirt and his name, has spoiled a movie that could potentially get picked. I'm kidding. No, it's fine. I'm kidding. It would be weird if we didn't bring up Barbie just by name. It would be weird if we,
It was hard for me to not make all my choices Barbie. So.
Right. All right. So I have the wheel here. This is going to determine not the order, but where you will decide where you go in order. So, like, if you're the first one it lands on, you will get to decide where you go in the order. And it looks like it's going to be Matt this time. Matt,
Ooh.
it's a new year,
There.
new luck. Where do you want to go, Matt?
Oh man, I don't know. I don't know if this is a bad omen for how my year is going to be. I start out really well, and then it's just going to suck from here. Or if my luck has changed and I am no longer just cursed on this show. But I'm going to go first. There's one category I only have one listed in, and I'm just going to have to take that one first.
Nice. And I do want to also I'll bring it up in just a sec. Actually, let me finish the order and then I'll say what I was about to say. It looks like it's going to be Chad. Chad, where are you going to go in the order? This is a rarity. Chad going first. That's weird.
Let me go third.
Oh wow!
Third. All right.
I thought you were going to go fifth.
All right.
I was
Chad's
thinking about it, but
Third's a good one. You swing. You're swinging right in the middle there on both sides.
no.
All right. I almost said
right.
I'm second because I'm going second. I'm going to go second just because there's something I really want. So.
Oh no!
I have an idea what that is already.
And I was worried for this exact reason that Dan would pick it. So Dan, are you going to go fourth or fifth?
I might as well go last because then I get
that.
first in the other round.
And I'll just spin it just so you feel special, Carly. I'll spin it just to see it lands on Carly. Carly, where would you like to go?
Can I predict yours before you pick it, Dylan, or is it just not? You're not going to do it.
Right before I say it, you can say it if you'd like. I'll tell you what category I'm picking from, and then you can tell me what you think.
Okay, all right, yeah.
But
I just want to see if I know.
I also want to bring up our winners for last month's draft days. Our Christmas characters draft. We actually had a tie for first between, I believe, Stacy and between Matt. So congratulations, Stacy and Matt won the Christmas draft with however many votes apiece you guys had it. Right, Matt, you had the one with the wet bandits, right? Yes, that was you. And then Stacy was Buddy the Elf. Yes, so that was the tie. And then the Disney 100 draft, Zach won. So congratulations, Zach, for getting Toy Story 3 and Empire Strikes Back. I mean, that's hard to compete against.
Oh yeah.
Alas, you got it, and we're very happy for you guys. And there will be a winner at this. So at the end of this, go vote on the poll. This is being aired, I think, Monday or Tuesday. So go look at the poll when this is done. All right, so we're getting right into it. Matty Fresh, what is going to be your number one overall pick?
Okay, let me just do a disclaimer here that I restarted my diet for the first time since the holidays today. And so if I get cranky or low energy, just tell me to go eat a carb. Okay. But also, I'm very hungry because this took way longer than I thought. So I'm going to try not to slurp, but I may eat, which is funny.
Just mute yourself if you do.
I make fun of people for eating on streams all the time. So I'm going to be the subject of my own ridicule. Right. But for my number one pick, and Dylan, I'm so sorry because I feel like this is one you really want, and I'm afraid it's your first one, and I don't know though for sure. No. This is why I went first, because I didn't want you to take it, because it's the only one I have on here, because I didn't have a lot of time to research some of these this week. So for my number one pick, I'm going to choose my scene, and it's going to be the bomb test scene from Oppenheimer.
Totally fine. Okay. Totally fine. I'll explain it in just a sec why I didn't. But okay, so the Trinity test is your
yes, the Trinity test from Oppenheimer.
Okay.
It's probably the best. It's probably the greatest minute, 2 minutes, however long it is, I've had in a theater in a very, very long time. Like the emotions, the way that you feel that, especially because it's so weird because something so heinous is actually happening on screen. Like It's something that led to just atrocity. But you're watching it, and it's just this moment, the world changed happening on the screen. The sound goes out, and everything is just, and you feel the weight of that moment. It's one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in a theater. Mm-hmm. So that is why I chose that. Because there's just so much weight to that moment, and you really, really feel it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's in my opinion, one of the best scenes Christopher Nolan's ever made. I didn't pick it, or I wouldn't have picked it first because my scenes category is like 23 scenes long. So I was like, if I don't get my top few, like this is one of my favorite scenes of the year. So like I'm not I'm very happy you got it. It was on my consideration. Obviously, it was the first one I wrote down for sure. But I definitely think there are other categories that are shallower that I would have gone for first. But I think it's a smart pick because it's going to play well as that one overall pick. I mean, it is like kind of not the obvious one, but it's in terms of like this whole draft, but for scenes, definitely, I think a lot of people would say that is the scene of the year, and I wouldn't argue it. I think it's amazing.
If I had more time to research a little bit more, I might have had more. I would have definitely had more scenes on my list. But literally, I thought of that, and I was like, I'm going to write that down.
Hey, if you have a number one pick, you don't need any more scenes. So there you go. Any other thoughts on the Oppenheimer Trinity test? Any?
Yeah, I actually I only wrote down a few scenes, and this was one of them. I do think it's an incredible scene. I'm not surprised that Matt went with this, especially if you're like, what are the best scenes? And then that's the only one that really sticks in your mind because it is one of the best ones for sure. There's really no rivaling that, especially in like a theater setting. I have one in mind that I might pick that I think could rival it, but it's very different from what this one is. And I don't think there's anything that happened in 2023 like that sequence from Oppenheimer. It's just so like the build up and then okay, good, there's no sound. And then nope, now there's sound. And it's just so crazy. Yeah. It's catches you off guard. It's a bit of a jump scare a little bit. With the visual and then the quote and then the rush of sound is just so incredible.
And then there's even comedy with Benny Safdie layering on the sunscreen. Like it has everything. That moment is so good. Any other thoughts on the Trinity test, Dan? Did you look?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be my pick, but if I'm going fifth, there's no way I'm getting that. And it seems like the most obvious thing that every one of us was going to pick. But when he picked that, I had a sigh of relief. I said to myself, Dylan's really thinking his lucky stars right now because I know he was hoping that he wasn't going to go with. I think you're going with your MVP next, Dylan. I have a feeling is your number one pick.
I don't know. Carly, do you have anything to say on the Trinity test before I pick my number one pick?
It's a really great scene. It wasn't on my personal list, but like when I was looking at my top movies of the year and trying to think of what scenes really affected me, that was definitely the first scene that came to mind as like. Yeah. Just definitely the most memorable. And like, I love the decision to just cut out the sound because you're expecting that big boom and then it's just silent. And it's just fantastic.
Well, what hits you first, right, guys? What hits you first is what? You see the light.
Right.
Then you feel the sound.
It's like the thunder lightning thing of you see
lightning. That's exactly it. So when that happened, I said to myself, this is perfect. This is exactly. I guaranteed he talked to scientists and people to make sure that he did that properly. Right. And it came out exactly the way.
A lesser director would have just had it say "go boom" right away, Right. But I love that sound.
Well, and the thing is with Nolan is, and he often gets criticized or made fun of for this, but I think that sometimes a director is working towards something. And will finally one day perfect it, and you can't really make fun of that. And that the two things that he often gets talked about and sometimes made fun of for are how he plays with time and how he plays with sound. And that is almost like the culmination, like the perfection of those two things is timing and sound happening in that moment. And so it's like the apex of his journey is that moment.
For sure. Okay, so Dan, you said I was going to pick my MVP. I actually wasn't. I was worried that you would pick my film. I
would like to guess because I thought you were going to go with film.
Okay. Well, I thought you were going to go MVP because you didn't want anybody to take your MVP, and I have a feeling I knew what your MVP is.
Well, and now I'm worried
I'm not going to say it.
Whatever.
I'm not going to say
what my MVP though now because I'm like, if I let it get, because I have to let it go 6 more picks after mine to get back to me because I got to go Chad, Carly, Dan, Carly, Chad. I'm worried Dan might take my MVP now, so maybe I should go with my MVP. But maybe he's just trying to get me to play a mind game, so I go with my MVP, so then he can snag my film from me. Now, the reason I'm going to go with my film still at the end of it is because in TV, I had like 2 or 3 series that I'm like, this is my favorite series of the year. There's no one that stands above the rest. Same with, honestly, the MVP. I was looking around. I was like, there's a lot of great contenders here. And I think also for scenes, I was like, there's a lot of great contenders here. Even from my favorite movie, there's like 3 or 4 scenes to pick from. And it really came down to most anticipated, which is like, I'm not going to try to snag that first because there's so many films people are looking forward to. I have to go with my film because, and this is rare where I think this is one of the best years of movies in a long time, or
Mm.
in a while. I guess that's the same thing as a long time, but since maybe like 2019, which is not a long time, but still, it's one of my favorite years of movies in a long time. But I still only gave 1 5-star review. You know, like there's still only one film, and it's because I think the other films that year just don't necessarily reach the heights of what my favorite film is. And it might not look good on the graphic now that Matt's kind of taken it right before me, and it's kind of back-to-back picks, but I gotta go Oppenheimer. And it's because it's just my favorite film, not just of this year, but of the decade so far, of the last 10, 20 years. Like, I just love it so much. And every time I watch it, I'm worried. I'm like, it's 3 hours. Am I going to finally get tired of it? And I don't. And every other movie I've tried to watch again, I've been like, this is great, but like nothing captures the magic of that first time. Whereas Oppenheimer, every time I watch it, it gets even more magical for me. So it's like, that is just the movie that has just consistently been at the top. Every movie that's rivaled it has only rivaled it, has never been able to kind of surpass it for me. Even my number 2 movie, which I love and adore, and I know at least 2 people here are going to be duking out for it. I still just I don't think it's even close to the level of the other one. Like, I really just think Oppenheimer just is like its own little unicorn of this year, where every other category I could be satisfied with 2 or 3 picks, but for me it's like, if I were to get my number 2, 3, 4, 5 film of the year, I'd be happy, but like, it just doesn't feel right when I have this available to not go with Oppenheimer. So I'm going to go Oppenheimer. It's a chalk pick. It's a very basic pick, you will say, but there's a reason why some movies are basic. I mean, there's a reason everyone loves The Godfather and Casablanca and Citizen Kane. It's not because it's a basic pick. It's because it's actually good. You know what I mean? So,
I knew this was going to be your first pick, and that's because for the reason you said, which was you called it the best movie of the 2020s. Like,
yes.
like, it's like, okay, so it's definitely the best. Like, you have to have this, and I've heard you talk about it a lot. So
and
I knew
granted,
that.
I did say Titan was the best movie of the 2020s, and then I said the same about The Fabelmans. So there's a chance that whatever comes out next year will, kind of outthrone Oppenheimer, because Oppenheimer's kind of outthrown the rest. Yeah, it's really
Not it equals Oppenheimer? I don't think so, man.
No, it doesn't equal, but I said it, and then
Not even
once
close.
Oppenheimer came out, that came out above it. So, like, who's to say there's going to be another film? I mean, there's still
Yeah.
6 more years to go that's going to
Yeah.
surpass it, but it's also because I grew up thinking The Dark Knight was my favorite movie for so many years, because that was like the movie that got me into movies, and I was like, oh, Christopher Nolan is never going to be able to top The Dark Knight, but I hope he comes close. And then this one like blew it out of the water. Like, this almost made me want to put Dark Knight down a peg in terms of ranking, just because I love this movie so much. So.
Dark Knight suffers because
Right. I won't actually do that.
Great film. It's a great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've always been a big Christopher Nolan fan, and putting out a movie that doesn't resonate with everyone, when he puts out movies that doesn't resonate with everyone, Tenet, stuff like that, it always sucks for the Christopher Nolan fan, because then you just kind of have to sit there and let people yell at this guy you like. But I have always been a big fan of his. Prestige is my favorite. Oppenheimer and Dark Knight are like right there for number 2 for me now. I agree with you. This has been a really great year for film. Not just at the top, like even the bottom of my list. I don't think I have anything below like 3 stars, but that might just be because of my lust for Adam Driver in 65. If I didn't have that, it would probably be below 3 stars. But
so that's your lowest ranked movie. It's still 3 stars.
that's
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Exactly. So I agree. It's been a really good movie, or a really good year. This is among my favorites. I do have a couple others, but a lot of the things that I have above it are more emotional picks for me. Not technically, this is the best movie of the year. I like on a technical level, and if I'm being objective, this to me, I think.
And there's no objectivity. There's not.
Right,
if there were, if you're looking at like every.
If I'm looking at it objectively and not taking in the emotional, like the reasons that I like the other ones more, I mean, this is definitely. I think this is the best movie. So I think it's a great pick, and I knew you were gonna go for it. If you didn't, you probably would have lost it.
I probably would have lost it at some point. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, Dan would have stolen it. That's why I wanted second or first, because I just wanted to make sure I got it. Because that's the one I'm like really like of all the categories, which is weird because film is so deep that I'm like I need that one. The other ones I could get my 2 or 3 pick and be happy. But all right, any thoughts on Oppenheimer? I mean, we'll probably talk about it a little more later, but
yeah. Well, first I just wanted to say I thought it was great because a lot of the times in draft day, Dylan will basically turn into Wallace Shawn from The Princess Bride and just talk about his whole logic of who's going to do what, and that's what you want me to think, and stuff. And I just think it's brilliant when he does that. Dylan and I will cover all of these movies from 2023 that were nominated for Best Picture on Picture This in March. So we will talk a lot more about Oppenheimer. I do just want to say I think it is, on a technical level, like the biggest technical marvel of 2023 for sure. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's on that same level as far as like the greatest film ever made. I don't know if it's going to be like on like a top 100 of all time kind of a thing. Like, some people might think. And I don't think just because like this movie came out last year that it automatically just entirely just like makes The Dark Knight look like a bad movie, or like not.
No,
not
I didn't even say that, but yeah,
either.
Right.
But
I just thought Dark Knight couldn't be topped, and then I saw something that I thought was better, and it was more surprised. I was like, how did Nolan outdo himself?
And there's does anybody else have anything to say about Oppenheimer? Because
this is going to segue into your next pick.
Yeah,
I was going to say a little bit.
It is my number one movie of the year, and I watched all of the things that Dylan has done over the months, and all the different reviews and all the different times he's brought up Oppenheimer and like Oscar picks and this and that and the other, and everything he says is right. He's so eloquent in the way he talks about movies in general. But yeah, it was my number one movie of the year. I saw it back in July in 35 millimeter and 70 millimeter, and I've seen it about 5 times since. So and I'm a massive Nolan fan. I've seen all his movies in the theater except for The Following and Memento. No, I did see Memento in the theater. I've seen every single one of them in the theater, and I'm with you as far as this is a crowning achievement of his. But it's not like. I like Dunkirk, and I love The Dark Knight, and I love Inception. Right. I mean, the guy's made great film after great film after great, and that's what the great filmmakers do, And there is a lot to love about Oppenheimer, you know what I mean? But Chad will probably bring up the other half of Barbenheimer here in a second. So
maybe, Carly, any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Nolan fan. Like even his great movies like Inception and The Dark Knight, like I like them a lot, but I'm not.
Matt's kicking you out.
Like I like them a lot, but I don't love them. Like they don't hit me emotionally the way I wish they did. But like Oppenheimer, like it really hit me hard. Like it really shows how strong a film it is that I'm not even the biggest Nolan fan, and I really love this film. Like it's really it's not quite a 5-star film for me, but it's really close. It's just a great movie. It's probably one that I'll never watch again just because the ending gets to me so much. It just it feels like a horror film by the end. But it's such a fantastic film. And if it does win Best Picture, I won't begrudge it at all. I have other films I'd probably prefer to see win, but like if it wins Best Picture, I'd be like, yeah, that's probably the best picture of the year.
Carly, Winnie the Pooh is not nominated this year. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm kidding.
And
sorry.
Can I just real quick? The thing is, you don't know who your enemies are in life. And we got to see how this man who he thought he was doing things the right way, and he had enemies out there that did not like him over the most mundane, idiotic things. Like, what did you shower? How did you shower Albert on me? I'm like, stupid crap. And this guy almost ruined the guy's career over stupid crap like that. And there's people all over the world, in every town, in every state, in every country who have like stupid, like like jealousies of people for no reason at all. And that's why the world is so effed up the way it is,
Yeah. Yeah. Robert Downey Jr.'s character epitomizing that. Yeah. All right, Chad. It sounded like you wanted to segue into your pick. With what you were saying. So I already wrote it down, but I want to see if I'm right.
You're probably right. The thing about it is, it's interesting. Like I'm so excited to cover this slate in March with Dylan because I feel like at least there's like a top 5 that are like, you could say some of the best movies of the past decade or something like that. And I think Oppenheimer is included in that. But like, there's so many that I think even like the worst one is a good movie. It's like something that it's someone's favorite probably, and I don't think that's the case for the past few years. And I do think Oppenheimer is the biggest. I don't think that automatically makes it the best. I do have issues with the movie, but I have a third watch to go through. However, the one I'm picking is the one that immediately, the first time I saw it, I adored it, saw it a second time, adored it again. It's I think the best movie of the year, and I'm picking The Holdovers. Yeah, no, I knew Matt was going to be mad. He had a chance to get it, but
I did.
Dan's surprised because he thought your wardrobe gave away a different pick.
But he got.
I'm worried a Barbie pick was coming.
Chad, you're killing me, Chad.
Chad's also wearing his fake eye though. You can't really see it, but
He does look like he's got a fake eye. Yeah.
But no, Matt got a great scene. I'll get a lesser scene, I guess. But I got a great movie here. And that's what I was talking about. There's so many other great movies to pick. But I had to go with this one, because me and Matt and Dylan all love it. I don't know about Carly or Dan, but I think The Holdovers is just such an incredibly written film. I just like most of Alexander Payne's movies. I haven't seen Sideways yet, and I'm gonna get to it, and I'm so excited to get to it.
Good.
I know. I'm so excited because I feel like it's gonna have a lot of similar vibes. But The Holdovers immediately is like a Christmas staple. I love how it takes. It has like a bigger group, and then it dwindles down to a very small group, and every single one of those performers are just firing on all cylinders and are some of the best performances you've ever seen. And I think that's why Giamatti and Divine Joy Randolph are front runners in their categories. More so Divine, but and a lot of people thought maybe Sessa was going to get in because of the strength of his performance, but he's so new that he just didn't have like the same level of push. But yeah, this movie I think is like perfectly written. I love how it goes into the motivations of all these characters, and you see the growth of all of them, the deep sadness that you feel with Divine's character, and also Sessa, where he's it's both a coming of age. Well, actually, it's a coming of age story for both Sessa and Giamatti, because you get to see them both transitioning to different phases of their own lives and just trying to figure out where they should be. Like they've been kind of stuck in this like one place, and then maybe it's time for them both to move on, or maybe even all three move on, and to see them all come together. And I think this movie just has like so much to say, and I can't wait to watch it again just to get my thoughts even more clear when I talk about it in depth in March. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's so many great movies. This is the one that I connected with the most, even though there's a lot that I connected with this year, including the one that Dylan picked. I think they're both great movies. But this one, I don't know, it's just sharper. I feel like Oppenheimer, you can like pick a little bit away from it, here and there, and say, is that actually necessary? And then I'm sure in March, Dylan will tell me exactly why it's necessary. But The Holdovers, I think, is perfect. You never know. Maybe I won't think so in a year, like Dylan was saying about Oppenheimer, but you never know. I love it.
This is my favorite movie of the year. This is number one on my list here. For what I'm going to watch. From the moment I saw the trailer for this, I knew that this was going to be up there for me. I knew I was going to love it. A lot of people know this, some people don't. Coming of age is my favorite genre. My favorite movie is Dead Poets Society. I loved Paul Giamatti, Sideways, and Alexander Payne. Their collaboration, that was my favorite movie of 2004. Like that. That collaboration, so everything about it excited me, and the trailer was cut like it was a 90s coming of age movie or 70s coming of age movie. Like it felt so retro and right up my alley, like exactly tailor made for me. And then I saw it, and it was tailor made for me. Mm-hmm. It was incredible. I loved this movie so much. I left the theater and I was like, nothing is going to top this movie for me. In 2023, and it didn't. And so that's really It's really it. I love this movie. I'm mad at Chad, but I had an opportunity. He's right. I just wanted to take that other scene. So,
and you probably would have lost the scene or the movie out. Like that's the tough thing about this draft. Is,
exactly.
You would have lost either.
Yeah, man. I'm the same way, man. I wanted. When you picked Oppenheimer, I said, nobody's going to pick the holdovers now. I got the holdovers. It's in my. I don't know Carly that well, but I had a feeling she wasn't going to pick the holdovers. And I was like, and then when he picked the holdovers, not Barbie or something to do with Barbie, I was like, no, Chad, you damn bastard. I wanted the holdovers so bad because that was my number 2 movie of the year behind Oppenheimer. And I'm same as Matt, man. It just hit me in the feels, it's just the characters, they were just the kind of characters I really enjoy watching, and that whole vibe of the 70s. You guys know how much I love the 70s. It's my jam, the 70s. And it just had that aesthetic to it. And I love it. And you guys were on My Life, My Love, 50 Years in Film. And what was my number 2 film? The number 2004 film of the year? Sideways was my favorite film of the year. And I love Sideways. And I'm not even into wine, but it's the aesthetic of Payne and Giamatti together. That dynamic was really, really good, But yeah, unfortunately, Chad, God.
Hey, that's the game.
Come at me, bro.
I want to see I'm Just Ken like dance off between the two now. Carly, have you seen this one yet or no?
I have not. So The Holdovers, Anatomy of a Fall, and Zone of Interest are like 3 of the biggest movies I just want to watch next before the Oscars.
Yeah.
And I'm sure
it's on Peacock. It's on Peacock. I don't know if you got Peacock.
Yes, I will eventually. I just haven't had the time quite yet, but it's cool. Those 3 are next on my list.
There you go. Well, you are up though, Carly. So what would you like to pick?
Okay.
I actually don't know where you're going with this because I feel like
so there's
I know what you want to pick, but
that I really want to pick. One, I only have one performer mentioned because I want it so bad, but I don't think Dan will take it from me. So I don't. Okay, I'm gonna get the one that I think is more likely to be taken. My scene. This should not. Once I say it, you guys are gonna be like, okay, that makes sense. It's the scene from Barbie. Probably my favorite scene in the film. The I'm Just Ken. The whole music. Oh my gosh, I love this scene so much. I love the homage to Singing in the Rain, as I'm sure Dyl does as well. It's just so great. I just love pausing a movie to do like a amazing dance number, and like it actually has meaning towards Ken's development and stuff. And I love the song. I have listened to the song like 50 times at this point, probably. Just I love it. It's so silly and fun, and I love that Ryan Gosling fought to have the song in the movie. Like, that's amazing. That is beautiful. One of my favorite parts from that scene is when he kisses the other Kens on the cheek, and the look on his face is just, I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, yes, he tried to overthrow the government, but look at him. Like, how can you not love Ken in that moment? Like, it's just so sweet.
Yeah.
It's so colorful, like the rest of the movie is. And like, I love how it ends with him just being like, I guess I am enough and I'm great at doing stuff. And like, it's just, I just love it so much. I probably should have picked something involving Barbie in the Barbie movie, but I love Ryan Gosling and Ken. So this is probably my favorite scene of the year for sure.
Well, I'll say the Oscars didn't pick Barbie from the Barbie movie either, so it's not.
Oh, come on, Chad!
Terrible. Hey, am I wrong? But I do want to say, I'm so glad you picked that scene. I do think it's incredible, but I do think, like you said, the similarities with that it has with Singing in the Rain. I think it's very similar to that. So much so that I know a lot of people who have an issue with that sequence from Singing in the Rain are like, well, it stops the movie. Like, well, you don't even need that. And then I know there are huge defenders of that scene in Singing in the Rain who are like, no, it's necessary, or it's at least something, I don't know, that vibes with the movie really well. And I think you can kind of look at it either way. And I think Barbie has the same exact thing. So it is really great. And I felt both ways about it. actually, watching at different times. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
I have a counterpoint to that, which is I think anybody who says that this scene is unnecessary or slows it down or anything like that, this scene saved Ken in this movie. Because the movie is coming out, we're watching the trailers, we're like, oh, this is gonna be amazing. Then they start coming out with stuff like the I'm Ken Uff and Are You a Ken stuff, and it's like, oh, this is awesome. And then we watch the movie and we're getting through the movie. No, we aren't Ken. We don't need to be Ken. No one needs to be Ken. Ken sucks. Through most of the movie, Ken sucks pretty hard. But it's at this moment in the movie that it goes, oh, this is what this is what Ken is to this movie. There's an arc here. There's a redemption. And I love it. This scene saves Ken. I think without this scene, you don't get the full arc with Ken that you need for this movie, for that character to work and for us to be able to wear Ken Uff shirts and stuff.
Just to say something about that, like, yeah, I'm definitely not saying that myself. I believe that it doesn't matter at all, but it is very extended a lot of the times, and I'm just wondering, like, if that interrupts the flow of it.
I also like that scene in Singing in the Rain, so maybe that's also it. So.
True.
Also, it's a little confusing. I didn't realize people were comparing it to the Dream Ballet and Singing in the Rain, though, because the floor pattern, it's the homage to the love song, right? Or am I'm thinking of it wrong? If I'm getting it wrong, no. Like I for some reason I thought the floor was the visual comparison, not necessarily the like. Oh, we're gonna have a dream ballet for the sake of having a dream ballet, but I don't know.
That's how I thought about it, at least. I don't know.
Gotcha. Yeah, because they use the same floor pattern as I think it's the one where they're standing with the purple and the fan. I don't know, but I should rewatch my favorite film again because I'm probably getting it wrong. No, I love it too, and I agree with you, Matt. Like, it's funny because like a lot of villain songs are usually about them being dastardly and mean, but like there aren't a lot of villain redemption songs. So it's cool that we're getting a villain song where he's like actually able to like kind of redeem himself. Oh, never mind. I'm way off because I was thinking of this scene of Singing in the Rain. I was like, isn't this what they're homaging? Because of the purple, but no, it's the floor in the Dream Ballet. You're right. Yeah. So I love the visual homages to it though. I think it's great.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, are you talking, Dylan? Sorry.
No, I'm giving it to you, Dan.
No, I agree with Matt, though. This is the redemption of Ken. You have to have a redemption of Ken because he's such an unlikable character throughout the whole movie that this I am Ken, I am enough, the whole 9 yards, this is his redemption. So then you can go back to the way things were before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
you have to have that because you can't upset the status quo of Barbie Land, and have a nasty Ken. You have to go. Things have to go back to the way they were before. Before all the, breaking the hands off the Barbies and screwing things up. You know what I mean?
And I did look. It is the Dream Ballet. You're right, Chad. So yeah, it's like the pattern of the floor. But I thought it was more just like a visual thing. I didn't realize people were actually comparing it to like the device in the movie. I thought it was more of like a visual comparison. So that's the first I'm hearing of those criticisms. But I want to watch it now with that lens of like, does it stop the movie in its tracks or does it progress the character or not? But and I know you're not saying that, Chad. I know you're saying other people are saying that. So
I think it might be like a little of both.
Right.
But
because what I saw was just the visual parallels, and I was like, "Oh, this is so cool!" It's like visual. It's the same floor pattern as Singing in the Rain. I just looked at the floor. I didn't think anything further of it. But yeah, very good song though, Carla. Very good scene. Very good song. Not my favorite song from the movie, but my favorite scene of a song in the movie. Actually,
that's my favorite song in the movie.
Yeah, there's 2 great musical moments in that. Actually, there's 3. There's a lot of good 4. There's a lot of good musical moments in Barbie. I'm like recalling them in my head.
Do you want to change your pick, Dylan?
No.
You want to change your pick, Dylan? You can have Barbie.
Dan, go ahead. What's your next pick gonna be?
Oh well, okay. Everybody knows I'm a football fan. I like a team from New England. No, I'm joking. I'm not picking anything from 80 for Brady. I'm not picking anything from 80 for Brady.
Diane Warren, MVP of 2023.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. I wanted to see if you guys would. I looked at your eyes, Dylan. You're like,
at first
what?
I was like, well, the Holdovers is already taken. So what Boston film is he going with? And I was like, 80 for Brady.
No, I'm not going for 80 for Brady. I really want to steal Dylan's the MVP just to piss him off.
I don't know if you know who my MVP is. I'm curious.
Well, there's a young lady who's in 3 movies.
All right, don't talk anymore. I think you got it,
that's
Dan.
who you go with. See, I ain't dumb. I ain't as dumb as you think I am. but I'm not gonna be mean. I wanted to go that way, but because I only like half of that person's stuff that they were in this year. Not the other half I can't stand, but the half I like, but the other half I can't stand. I know Dylan likes the other half.
Don't tip it off.
Garbage things. The other two garbage things this person was in. Dylan loves those two things. I can't stand them two things. So I'm not going to pick that person for just half of their.
All right, get to your real pick, Dan.
I'm going to go with a gentleman who probably did one of the greatest things he's ever done this year, and he voiced the raccoon. So I'm going to go with, as my MVP, I'm going to go with Bradley Cooper.
Yep.
Because I think if you look at his entire body of work, not only did he write, direct, produce one of the best movies of the year, and all this crap about people are giving this guy crap. What are you
They're
looking
giving
at?
him crap for trying too hard. I'm like, if I were as overdue as him for an Oscar, I would try my ass off. Because he's like trying to talk about how much time he spent making this movie and studying. He would sit in a conductor's box and watch orchestra rehearsals for like 10 hours a day. And people are like, oh, he's trying too hard for an Oscar. The fuck yeah, he is. Of course. Like, why wouldn't you?
6 years he put into making this movie.
Right.
And I mean,
don't blame him.
That cinematography Oscar nomination, well deserved. Obviously, what he got into actor. He didn't get into director, but he got into screenplay. I don't think was he part of the screenplay? Was he part of the screenplay?
I assume he had influence on.
Yeah. Okay. So he's got into multiple.
Because I know Alexander Payne wasn't for holdovers, but let me see.
Yeah. No hold. Yeah, that was a shocker. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Bradley Cooper for his entire body of work this year. To me, runs the whole gambit of greatness. Yeah. And you add all the maestro stuff that he put into that movie, and then you get him playing probably the MVP of the Guardians of the Galaxy over of the entire MCU, and now Guardians 3. His character gets his arc in that third movie, and some sad moments. Mm-hmm. I mean, when he meets his other buddies in the prison and stuff, the rabbit and the walrus and the otter, which becomes his girlfriend, and just that's, I mean, I love animals, and that really, really hurt me, some of the stuff. And I know Chad's a big animal lover as well, and I know that had to really bother him. I mean, I was crying. I don't cry that easy in movies, but that stuff in Guardians, it really hit me hard. What the abuse of those animals and stuff, and then freeing. We can't leave. They freed all the animals. We free even the monsters. They freed the big three of the monster thingies. Yeah. And I think Bradley Cooper unnecessarily is being treated bad for this year, and I think he actually is easily one of the top 2 or 3 MVPs of the entire year in TV and movies, in my opinion.
And lest you forget, Dungeons and Dragons, he's in that too.
That's right.
What's he in there? I forget.
He's the dwarf. He's the husband of Michelle Rodriguez, right?
Michelle Rodriguez's ex-husband or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot all about that.
Right.
I haven't seen Dungeons and Dragons since I saw it my press screening. That was the last time I saw it.
Yeah. So you get 3 for there.
I want to piggyback off something Dan was talking about, because I just want to say that's a great pick, because he's just a crazy, amazing actor, director, producer. He can really do it all.
He was my number 3. Yeah.
If he's in A Star Is Born, he can sing. So, he can conduct, apparently, he can really do it all. But yeah, I want to say that sequence or all those sequences in Guardians 3, because that's up there for one of my favorite movies of 2023 for sure. It was my favorite, and then The Holdovers beat it out just slightly. But yeah, Guardians 3 I think rules. And the reason why I those scenes are very hard to watch, but unlike other lesser movies that just throw in animal harm, I don't know, to be scary, or I don't know why some people do it sometimes, but that one, those scenes in there this movie like cares so deeply about these characters, even when they're in harm. And that's why it works for me, even though I totally understand people who go, I can't watch that movie but the one time because
you
it's
know what was
so
happening, Brad. You knew it was coming. You knew it was coming. If you knew anything about the Guardians, you knew anything about James Gunn, you listened to any interview or read any of you knew this stuff was coming.
Dylan actually gave me fair warning before I saw it because I was really trying to go see this after having Elliot, and I had so much anxiety going into it, but it was still very bad. But like I feel like the rest of the movie was so joyous that it like made, I don't know, it's very good. And then all I'll say on Maestro for now, and I love his cameo in Dungeons and Dragons, but all I'll say on Maestro real quick is I'm not a huge fan of that movie right now, but I need to give us another watch to it because I feel like it's a challenging one. Before I talk about it in March, but I do think his performance is incredible. His direction's incredible. So Bradley Cooper is the best part of that movie. Carey Mulligan also is really great in it as well. So it's a great pick, Dan.
That first black and white sequence, I mean, masterfully directed. Masterfully directed.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Bradley, Matt, or Carly?
Yeah. I really did like Maestro. I understand. Oh, we've lost Dan.
He just wanted to pick Bradley Cooper, and then
he was gonna say, he has the next pick though, so I'm gonna make sure he's okay. Keep going.
No, sorry. I actually did really like Maestro. I understand kind of some of the criticism it gets, but I think that because I think that people aren't really. It's not that they don't understand it. That's that they aren't into that this is a story about him and his wife and not a biopic of him. So like, if I think that's kind of where the disconnect happens. I think this is the best. This is the best performance he's ever given, bar none. Like I don't think he's ever given a better performance than in Maestro.
Wow.
I mean, it's a really great, affecting performance, and you feel you lose him in it. Like it doesn't feel like Bradley Cooper playing Bernstein. It feels like Bernstein to me. Like that's also now that we have a Lenny Bruce biopic, and we have a Leonard Bernstein biopic. We only have two more names, and then we're going to have all of the biopics of the people who mentioned in It's the End of the World as We Know It. So
there you go. Who's left on At the End of the World? It's the End of the World as We Know It. You're muted.
I don't know how that happened. I didn't even press anything.
Oh, now your audio's whack. So you might have accidentally unplugged something. It's okay. Really quick, Carly, any thoughts on Bradley Cooper?
Yeah, I didn't even think of this, but it's a really good pick. I probably didn't think of it because Maestro bored me. I might give it another shot when I'm more focused, but yeah, I think his work as Rocket is so good. That movie is so good. And, yeah, I didn't think of Bradley Cooper, but I think it's a really solid pick, and it makes a lot of sense. And if I had liked Maestro, I'm sure he would have been on my list.
Cool. Matt, we all good over there?
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's perfect now. Yeah. It's
all right. Leonid Brezhnev and Lester Bangs, is that his name? From those are the other two that were mentioned.
Gotcha. And then we'll have the whole we didn't start End of the World as We Know It.
End of the World as We Know It. However, Lester Bangs was in Almost Famous, so if we want to count that, we only have one, but I think we need a full Lester Bangs movie.
All right. Let's move it on now to round two. I know round one we like to give a little more time because it's our first picks, but these next rounds we could kind of not speed through, but we'll make it a little brisker. But Dan, what is going to be your first pick of round two? You're up on the clock again.
Well, going off of Dylan's MVP person, I'm going to steal. No, I'm not. I'm not going to steal.
You already took your MVP, so you can't pick another MVP.
I was saying the show. I was going to steal the show that your MVP was going to be in.
You can take it.
Actually, it's my number two show of the year, actually. And I absolutely love that show. I freaking love that show. But a show that surpassed it. And if anybody knows me, I'm a massive Star Trek fan. I'm going way back. I love Star Trek: The Next Generation. That's my Star Trek. And this year, Picard season 3 came out, and I got the first 6 episodes and I was blown away by what I was watching. I could not believe that this guy who created this season or the Picard show really put himself out there for the Star Trek fans, people that are massive Star Trek: The Next Generation fans. And if you're a Star Trek fan, if you're a Star Trek: The Next Generation fan, Picard season 3 is some of the best Star Trek ever. I mean, ever. And I'm not going to go with that show that I alluded to that I told Dylan that I was going to
Don't give Carly and Chad ideas, Dan.
I decided I'm going to go to Star Trek Picard season 3.
Yeah,
it's incredible. All the characters have their own arcs. I mean, just every Worf and Dorn, Michael Dorn. Riker. I mean, just incredible Star Trek. And I got to see the final 2 episodes in IMAX, and there was a Q&A afterwards. And I got a poster, I got a lithograph, I got a shirt, I got all kinds of goodies. But please, Terry Metalis, we need more Star Trek.
Yeah, I was gonna say I after season 1, I was like, it's okay, and then season 2, I heard it was bad, so I didn't watch it. So I just, in order to get to season 3, I feel like I should watch season 2, but like I really didn't like the first one as much enough to like warrant that. But now that I'm hearing it's so good, I might have to check it out. Does anyone else check out Picard or Picard season 3?
No. I haven't.
No, I'd like to, but I haven't watched any of Picard yet.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely want to check it out though, because I've heard raves. You and also Dan Murrell have really championed it, so I'm really fascinated.
And I'm not doing the drop day justice because I'm not stabbing people in the back over
I
there.
appreciate it, Dan. I appreciate it, but you're still mentioning you're alluding to them, which is scary. You're tipping people off, even if you're not the one.
Sorry,
you're handing the knife over.
Well, I want people to know that I could have picked them things.
I know, yeah, and I appreciate it.
I'm going to be honest. I have no idea what he's alluded to either time.
Good.
Oh,
good. We'll keep it that way.
No.
So maybe I shouldn't pick it. If Chad and Carly don't pick it, maybe I should hold off, see if I can get it past Matt and then take it again. I don't know. Chad, what are your thoughts on
Yeah, I haven't seen any of Picard, but I do think Dan could have probably waited until the 5th round for that one because it doesn't look like many other people have seen it. But I'm glad that he loves it. I'm glad that he's recommending it to everyone. We did. Carrie really got into the Next Generation post having our baby. And I'm really our baby. I'm really excited to actually dive more into Star Trek. I just have been in like a very movie focus recently, right. But like, the Next Generation, we're kind of slowly becoming Star Trek people in a way. So thanks for the recommendation, Dan, because I'm very excited to finish Next Generation and then move on from there. So yeah, and her favorite character is Data.
Data's got some great arcs in the movies and in Picard season 3. Interesting stuff they do with him.
I watched Next Generation occasionally when I was a kid, and I watched some of those movies. But I've been wanting to, before I do Picard, I've been wanting to go back and like do the full series Next Generation binge, and then I'll do Picard. So that's on my to-do list coming up.
Star Trek Next Generation ended way too soon. We could have had another 10 seasons of that show. That's how good that show. I mean, you ever see a show where it ends better than it started? That's what Picard was going. I mean, Next Gen was going up like this. It kept on getting better and better. So, let's do movies. The movies weren't half as good.
The movies aren't good. Yeah.
And one quick thing Carrie found out is that without Next Generation, I don't know if we would have had Buffy the Vampire Slayer because it had so much influence on like things that we see in that show, and that's our favorite show. So it makes sense that we would love that show too. So,
right. Well, Carly, the knife is in your hands. If you'd like to stab me in the heart, now's a chance to do so. If not, I'll appreciate it. But
I am picking my MVP performer.
Okay.
Oh boy, here we go.
I would like to start with a quote by them.
Okay.
You know, very little is known about Kenergy, and we don't have the funding for research. We know that it's real, you know? In my case, it came on like a rash, and then it turned into a tan. Then suddenly you're shaving your legs, and you're bleaching your hair, and you're wearing bespoke neon rollerblades. I am picking Ryan Gosling as my MVP performer. So was he in the most movies? No. Was he the best performance in that movie? Maybe not. Is he even winning the Oscar? Probably not. I love him so much. Like, it's just everything. Like, first of all, his performance in this film in Barbie is amazing. Like, he is the highlight. Like, I love him so much. His comedy in it is amazing. His emotional moments in it are amazing. Like, he bounces off Margot Robbie so well. Like, I really need them to be in like a rom-com or something in the future. Because, oh my God. Like, more than anything, it's just the quotes about Kenergy, like how he went full method acting and just was like, I am Ken now and will forever be Ken. He's just amazing. Like, I feel like some actors could take this role and like make fun of it, make fun of Ken, make fun of Barbie, you know, like look down on it a little bit, but like he put his whole heart and soul into this performance, into this role. Like, every time a quote from him during the summer would be posted, I was like, yes, this is beautiful. Like, it was my favorite thing. Like, just how he put his whole heart into the movie. Like, how supportive he is of Margot and Greta Gerwig. Like, I have just been obsessed with Gosling recently. Like, he's shooting up my favorite actors list. He's amazing. And like, the Barbie draft day gave me opportunity to see more of his films.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so it might not be the most popular pick. I might not get a bunch of votes for it, but I had one person listed on my MVP performer list because after I wrote my notes down, I was like, no, I can't pick anyone else. There's no one else. It's just Ryan Gosling for me. So
that's fun. Yeah, I mean, it's a great pick. Obviously, it's one of the best performances of the year for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say. You said it all. It's great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really like him in that movie. I like him in general. I like him in that movie. I will say that for anyone complaining, for Carly, if you're complaining about a certain person not getting nominated, you've had two opportunities and haven't nominated that person at all. So
I'm gonna cry.
No, she has more opportunities, I'm sure.
Dare you?
Actually, probably only one more opportunity, honestly. But it's okay. We'll see.
Yeah, Ken's my favorite part of Barbie. And America Ferrera is my second favorite part of Barbie. So good pick.
Yeah, I adore Ryan Gosling. He's like one of my favorite actors for sure. Not just, just outside of Barbie. I just love him in everything. Even The Notebook, I think he's incredible. Going all the way back there. Or shit, Remember the Titans? Going back to the days of little baby Goss. But yeah, he's incredible in this movie. I totally understand why he got nominated. I just not even just I'm Just Ken, but like him singing his rendition of Push, I think is just one of the best things in the world. Just like, I don't know, it just really gets me. Like, I love throwing both songs on really in the car. Sorry if that's someone else's scene, actually, but yeah, he rules in this movie, and sublime. So there you go.
Sublime, yeah. All right, Chad, what's your next pick going to be? I don't know if you're on Dan's wavelength of who he is alluding to with my pick, but we'll see. The knife is now in your hand.
Were you're talking about an actor?
Maybe, I don't know.
Was he talking about an actor? Dan?
No, I don't know, Chad. I think
he's in a show. An actor in a show.
Yeah, he's mentioned an MVP and
I'm surprised you don't know who it is, Chad.
I think you should just pick. I
have no idea.
I think you should go with your heart, Chad. Just go with your heart.
I actually have no idea what he's talking about.
Very good. Okay.
Dylan's brain is like,
I think we need to give Chad more hints.
The fact though that Chad and Matt don't know
Dylan by now. You should know Dylan by now.
The fact that Chad and Matt don't know, and Carly and Dan have already picked their MVP, I don't have to pick my MVP now. unless they catch on or accidentally pick it, I can let it slide. You did
All
me
right,
a favor.
So I know who you like, and that's who I assume you're going to do. But he said they're in like 3 projects, and I only remember 1, and that's
Four.
They're not in 3 projects.
4?
They're not in 4 projects. We'll talk about it when we get there, guys.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, never
We'll
mind. then.
talk about it when we get
I actually don't know if someone's going to pick my performer, and I was between a couple different ones. So I am going to go with my MVP because I have like 2 shows that I love that I want to pick, but I think I'll probably end up able to get at least one of them, if not, have my choice of both. So I'm going to go with my MVP because I think my scene is safe. And I'm going to go with Emma Stone. Okay, good. Okay, you're safe.
Save Dylan. You just saved Dylan.
You just relieved
I
me.
I wasn't sure. So I picked
Great
the
pick,
holdovers, but
Curse
I
things, man.
adore Poor Things. I think that's just a phenomenal movie, and I didn't think I was going to because of a lot of the themes in there. A lot of the times I'm not a huge fan, but I think everything in this movie is done so tastefully. But like, I think Emma Stone's performance is the best performance of the year, just bar none. I love that the character of Bella Baxter. I love her arc. I think it's so incredible, and it makes the movie for me. There is another performer in that movie that I adore as well. But I feel like I have to go Emma Stone. She's also in that show The Curse that I haven't seen.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. The Curse ended January 12th, so technically you can't pick it as a show. But if you're picking Emma Stone for MVP, I'm sure people will assume it's for both, even though The Curse you can't pick as a show. But I will count it because she was also in The Curse, which is one of the biggest shows of the year. So like, I get it.
Well, I wasn't even really looking at
right. Yeah, but performer it doesn't matter as much because she's also in Poor Things. If you had just picked someone in The Curse, it might have been
yeah. I was looking at like more quality than quantity. Although Dan got like a great pick that was both. So but for me, I'm like, no, I think Emma Stone might be the best of the year. I so hope she wins her Oscar, and I can't wait to be able to rewatch it with Carrie because she hasn't seen it yet. I don't know, just going from this base level of thinking to this like highly intellectual way of thinking that she does, like that arc is just, I can't even with her in that movie. She's the best. So
yeah. And I know it's 2024, but what she's been doing with Fruit Tree lately is awesome. Her production company. I saw the TV Glow and A Real Pain, which are 2 of the buzziest titles of Sundance right now. So she's really riding a high right now. And I think she hosted SNL this year, and she was really good.
So Dan and I both picked banger producers.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, it's a great pick. I mean,
she's great. Yeah. She's great. I love the Frankenstein aspect of that movie, and I thought to turn that into this weird fantasy kind of thing and have this Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein or Frankenstein type atmosphere that Yorgos created in that movie, discovering sex, discovering food, discovering all these different things that a baby would discover, and then just the way she walked and talked and danced. I mean, it's just and then the clothes really play into it too. That's why people are talking about the best costumes of the year. I think the best costumes of the year are Poor Things because of how she made the costumes part of her character and who she is, and they're weird looking costumes, But she's great. I mean, great pick. And it would be her second Oscar too if she won.
Yeah,
she's so funny in that movie.
So good.
We had this conversation about whether this movie was horror, sci-fi, or comedy. To me, it's more comedy than the other things, even though it's based on the thing. We're not talking about the movie necessarily, but she is so funny in this movie. Funnier, I think, than I've given her credit for the past. Like, I knew she was in comedies and she could be funny, but she is so funny in that movie.
It's a very refined sense of comedy too.
Yeah.
It's not like your rom-com comedy either. Yeah.
She's very brave, Matt.
Oh yeah, very brave. Like and I love this movie so much. I'm not going to say because we're not talking about the movie. We're talking about the performance. I love this movie so much, and most of it is because of her, is because of what she brings to this movie. And I really love that. So yes, great pick.
Carly?
Yeah, I think it's a really good performance. I do want to rewatch Poor Things because I was a little sleepy when I was a little sleepy when I was first watching it. But even with that, I really enjoyed it, and I thought her performance was really good. There's a different stone. I prefer to take home that Oscar trophy, but I would not be sad at all to see her win. Like,
yeah,
she's a fantastic actress, and I think she's becoming a Meryl Streep type figure where she's just going to keep on winning throughout her career because she's just so freaking good. So I think that's a really good pick.
Would you be glad if Stone won?
Uh,
all right, so it's up to me, and I feel like with Matt not knowing, and with these three having picked their MVPs, I'm gonna take a gamble, and I'm gonna be safe. I listen. If Matt picks my MVP, it's my own fault.
I hope Matt picks your
And this
MVP.
could all be a bluff on Matt to make me not pick my MVP. To where, like, if I don't, he
Don't
might
do it.
be pulling some.
here's the
Like,
thing, Dylan. You know who my MVP is. Is my MVP safe?
I don't know if it's.
You know my favorite performance of the year.
Pick your MVP, Dylan. Get it out of the way because you just never know.
See, I don't even know if I know your favorite performance of the year. Maybe when
you
you
do.
say it, I'll probably be like, oh.
I hope this is all a long con by Matt. That would be beautiful.
Well, also, what's so interesting is,
Matt.
like Chad and Carly, you both primarily pick performers who were in like one big thing, whereas Dan went with someone who's in three, and like it's I don't know where you're going with it, but I'm gonna be safe. And there's one category that hasn't been pulled from yet, and that is most anticipated. And usually I would have liked to like just leave most anticipated for the end because it's like I want the 2023 and then I want 2024 at the bottom. But if I have Dune in the second round open, I'm gonna take it. Dune Part 2. This wasn't my number one most anticipated film when I did my video. It wasn't even my number 2. It was my number 3. But when I watched Dune in IMAX this past week and I saw the trailer, it was like they played 10 minutes of Dune Part 2. And it's the scene where Paul's riding the sandworm for the first time. And I just got a thrill that I haven't gotten in a long time. And it was just one of the most exciting little like snippets I'd seen. And I just think if the first one, which I think is already amazing, if people are saying the second half of the book is even better, then like I'm really hoping for like a real masterpiece with this. And obviously the great new craze sweeping the Twitter sphere right now is the popcorn bucket, which I'm sure, do you all know about the popcorn bucket?
Stupid.
Yeah,
Yes.
the popcorn bucket, which is going to probably drive more people to the theater. Sex freaks who want to get their hands on that the Dunussy are going to go to the theaters to get the popcorn bucket. No, but that's also another part of it is like not just the anticipation for the movie, but also the anticipation of the press run where you're going to have like actors like Austin Butler and Florence Pugh and Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, these buzzy stars promoting their movie. We also have some great veterans in there as well, and just the overall hype of, you know, this was delayed because of the strikes and we're finally getting it in March and it's going to be big and huge, and you know, the popcorn bucket. So I think it's hitting a high right now and it's not even out yet, and I'm hoping it's great. And so that's going to be the pick I'm picking for most anticipated. There are other movies I might be a little bit more excited for, but this feels like just kind of the right movie to pick here. I don't know.
Stole mine. You stole mine, Dylan.
See, and that's another good reason why I'm glad I picked it, because I think a lot of people are probably having it up toward their top, if not in their 5, their top 3 or 2.
My number one movie of the year, Dune, was a couple of years ago.
There you go.
6 Oscars it won, and people, oh, it's only half a movie. I said, are you not watch? Did you not watch this movie? This movie is a full movie that really has a whole arc for Paul Atreides.
Yeah. There's a lot more story when you watch it again and like are able to like focus on it. You're like, wow, okay, there's actually a lot going on, but it's still easy to follow. Anyway, we're not talking about Dune 1, but we're talking about Dune 2. But I'm very excited for it nonetheless.
Yeah.
I only had 2 movies on my most anticipated list, and that was one of them. So,
see, I'm glad my gamble paid off. Now, if you pick my MVP, I'm going to cry. But I'm
I can't imagine I'm going.
MVP. Just to piss him off.
Don't do it.
That I already got my tickets. You know,
shit, I need to get those.
as soon as they were like,
the front row was all was left. Chad, I wasn't going to go to the front row. I was like, hell with that crap. I'll just wait for my press screening.
Wow.
Well, I'm not going to get a press screening. So as soon as they
aren't we all waiting for our press screenings?
Right,
I thought.
right. As soon as the ticket AMC was like tickets are available, I was like, all right, right now, Let's grab.
Mhm.
I grabbed like 2, like Thursday and Friday, just in case one day is bad. But no, I'm very excited. I'm not as high on the first Dune as a lot of other people, but I'm very excited to rewatch that one. And I actually want to get to David Lynch's Dune soon now to kind of like parse how I feel about both of those. I'm a big David Lynch fan, Dan, so I don't know.
Garbage,
I
Chad.
could like it more. You never know. But I will say I'm still very excited for Dune 2. I think, if anything, I don't know what the story is going to be like, but if anything, like Oppenheimer, I think it's going to be like a huge spectacle that people will fall in love with, at least on that level. If it's not like the full like fantastic story or whatever, how it flows with the first one or anything like that. But I totally get it why Dylan was like in the theater, with it. So
One more time, what was that like?
I can't wait to be like that as well.
Yeah.
In a month.
I mean, you're gonna have a lot of people in the back row with their popcorn bucket making the same face. That's the last I'll mention the popcorn bucket. I promise. Carly, any
Something tells me that Dylan's going to get this popcorn bucket, and he's not going to do any videos for a while, guys. He's going to be at home with his popcorn bucket.
Oh my god.
That wasn't good. That wasn't called for. That wasn't.
Dylan, you don't have a hard out at 4, do you?
Listen, a hard what?
I don't want to hear about any of Dylan's hard anything.
No, stop it. I'm commenting on the people that would be interested in the popcorn bucket. I'm not going to waste more money. I pay $20 to AMC every month. I'm not going to spend more money. All right. I buy my own soda and popcorn before I go in the theater. Not popcorn. No, I can't do that. But I have my own candy and stuff ready to go. Anyway, maybe AMC is going to come for me. I don't know. Carly, any thoughts on Dune Part 2? I know you're excited. Yes. It comes out your birth month.
Yes, it does. Mine and Chad's birth month, so that'll be really fun. There's a lot of good releases in March, and this is one of the ones I'm more excited for. I am excited you got it because I am excited for it, but I'm not quite like Chad. I'm not quite as high on Dune as other people are. Like, I like it a lot, but I don't love it like some people love it. So, I love Villeneuve, so I'm really excited for this. I'm excited to see Zendaya in this, hopefully with a bigger role. And yeah, it's going to be a great time.
One thing before he introduced this preview, Denis Villeneuve ended with saying "Long live cinema" and then left. I was like, wow, that's epic. Just goes "Long live cinema" and then it plays the thing. I was like, it was awesome. All right, Maddie Fresh. I made a gamble. Let's see if it pays off. You picked your scene. You got everything else left for you.
Yeah. Okay. So since I only had 2 on my most anticipated, and you took 1, I don't know that anybody else is going to take the other one, but there were 2 movies that were my most anticipated last year, and both were pushed to this year. Both of them star Zendaya, and since you took 1. Awesome. I have to take the other one, which is The Challengers.
Awesome. That was my number 2 of the year, most anticipated. So I'm 100% in on that pick. That's a great pick.
That trailer is just really, really good. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it every time. It's kind of like the Star is Born trailer where they played it in front of everything, but you didn't mind because it was such a good trailer that that's how I feel about Challengers. I have become a huge Mike Feist fan in the last few years, and so having him in this in a lead part in this role in this movie excites me. I'm just excited about this movie. I really was hoping to see it or last year, but didn't get to. So I'm excited for when it does end up coming out. But yeah, just excited for it.
That movie. I'm so hyped for that. That is going to be, I hope, one of the best films of the year. I mean,
and I think you know which picture you need to use for the graphic, right?
The 2 of them with her in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I already knew. So you're gonna have the little love triangle threesome, and then you're gonna have the Dune popcorn bucket next to it. It's gonna be a great little picture. And then you'll have Emma Stone in Poor Things. I mean, it's just gonna be a very raunchy row here. But yeah, no, I'm very excited for that film, especially those performances. I mean, Mike Feist, I agree, is like one of the most exciting actors to watch right now, after West Side Story and Dear Evan Hansen and Newsies on Broadway. But yeah, it's going to be really exciting. I'm excited for him. Any thoughts on challengers? Any exciting?
I mean, I love Mike Weiss as well. I love listening to him sing in Dear Evan Hansen. I listen to that a lot. Zendaya's cool. I don't understand the hype. I don't think it was like that good of a trailer, but I have heard Dylan, just lauding about this trailer.
I don't shut up about it. I'm quite annoying about this trailer. Yeah.
No. I'm not saying that, but
no, like every time it plays in the theater, I text the Discord. I'm like, Challengers trailers on. Don't text. Like, it's a problem.
I'm glad that you love it. Honestly, I hope that you and Matt are right and that it's amazing. It's not a movie that I look at the trailer and I go, that could be like an Oscar film or anything like. It just looks like a really fun sports movie, but like
it's not the sports for me. It's the steamy, like the romance
of it.
the love triangle.
I hope both of those things. I hope both of those things are great and that it is amazing, but like I just don't see it on that level. But yeah, that's just me. I hope you guys are right though.
Yeah, I'm with Chad. I'm not the biggest Luca Guadagnino fan, but the cast is intriguing, and I see everything, so I'm gonna see this movie, and I have a feeling this could be an Oscar contender for Zendaya. She's gonna have a big year this year. I have a feeling.
This could either go by the way of like a Simple Favor, where people don't really know what to make of the tone because it's not like prestige, but it's really good, but they don't know where to put it, or it's gonna be like just not a King Richard because it's a little bit more different than that, but like kind of like that where it's like just really solid. I don't know. It's gonna be very.
I will say Mike Weiss was snubbed for West Side Story, so I would like to see something for him this time, but who knows.
You know what, Dylan? I think you hit it on the head there, and Matt, is that I just don't think that's my type of movie. So I think that's why like it really resonates for you guys, but not for me. But I hope I love it. I'm down.
Yeah, Carly.
I'm really excited for this. I think it was probably my number 3 on my list. I love sports films, and I love how this will be. It doesn't seem like a conventional sports film. It seems like
it's not about the sport. It's about the
it seems like more about the drama and the dynamics of the characters. With sports, is kind of like almost a subplot.
Yeah, almost like an Iron Claw type thing. Not as sad, but yeah.
It's about balls, but not the ones that you're talking about.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for this. I'm curious to see what the character dynamics will be. Like, how throupley will it be? That'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah. All right, Matt. Here we go.
I actually think that I'm safe on my performer, so I'm leaving because everybody else has theirs, right? Except for you and me.
But I know,
and I can't imagine that yours is the same as mine. Especially if you don't know who mine is. Like,
I think I've pieced it together now.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I know now who it is. Because I'm thinking, I keep thinking like who's been in a lot of stuff this year, but I keep remembering I'm like. You also picked Ki Hoi Kwan last year, so you're probably going to go with like just a highlight.
And he said best performance. He didn't.
Yeah. So I think I know where you're going to go with it, and I don't think you're going to take mine either. So we'll find out in the last round, won't we?
We'll see. I am going to go. Oh God, I was going to go with my season of television, but there's 3 that are like so even for me that I don't know. So, and I don't think any of you watch these, so it's like so I guess I'm going to go with movie. We've kind of already talked about this. And in fact, if anybody takes one of my series, it'll just narrow it down for me. So, I'm going to go with my movie. We already talked about this movie. It's my number 2 movie of the year, which is Poor Things. It's the most feminist movie we've got in a very long time in the year of our Barbie 2023. We still got a more feminist movie, which was Poor Things. It was just the sex positivity. It does not pretend like it doesn't hold back. It doesn't act like it's not doing it to shock you. It's doing it because this is fine. And I love that. Because she's just learning, and she's learning to understand how her body works and how life works. And these things are just happening. And Yorgos Lanthimos, I think, is a great writer and director. I think that he's, I think he does a lot of really incredible stuff. I think that he has knack for making unrelatable things feel relatable. In his other movies, like you can kind of feel the characters don't feel like people you know, but you still feel the relation to him. I think he's done that here, and even more so. I think that this is probably the most relatable characters that he's ever put on screen. And it's the opposite. Like they are completely not relatable. You don't know any Frankenstein's monsters. You know, you don't know any. You don't know any mad scientists, but extremely relatable characters. And I really, really enjoyed this movie. It is the funniest movie I've seen all year. That's why when we were having that conversation about is it whatever it is, it's the movie I laughed hardest throughout the entire movie. And people in my screening didn't seem to understand that it was a comedy, so I'm like the only one laughing in that movie. So maybe you guys are more right, but I'm like laughing throughout. But yeah, it's
there's a lot of movies that year where it's like either your whole audience is like on board laughing, or it's like you're the only one, and it's
like May, December,
like May, December. My screening was very it was a comedy, you know. And then you hear other people saying they're like, how could it be? Same with Poor Things. A lot of people are like, how is this funny? I'm like, really? not Mark Ruffalo in and of itself is hilarious, and
right.
You know, just everything is so great. It's so good.
So Poor Things.
Especially since Dylan brought up both of those things, I just wanted to highlight the one sequence is when she wants to have sex again. Mark Ruffalo is like, you know, I can't do it immediately after. She's like, so this is a flaw in men? And he's like,
yeah. Because she's so innocent and she just like speaks her mind. But I think that's what's so beautiful about the film is that it's like very much like when she says what she says, a lot of the time you're just like, wait, yeah, why is it that? Like, what? You're right. Yeah. Like, that's a very base level observation. It's just like we have to act a certain way by the way, you know, high society is. And that's the whole reason Jared Carmichael's character exists in it, is to just kind of like break down that barrier as well. And I love how it goes that extra mile at the end, too, where it's like it almost seems like it's this perfect ending. And then it's like, oh, but now we're going to cycle back to the beginning because she was also a person before this. And it kind of has even a very interesting conversation about like, at least kind of like a meta conversation about gender and like, you know, the idea of people dead naming people and like assuming that, you know, you were the person before when you want to identify as this, and someone trying to make you a certain image of what you were in the past and it being like, no, this is my new identity. This is who I am. All the stuff with Christopher Abbott is so good, man. I can't wait for him in another movie that I won't spoil because it might come up on someone's list. But Christopher Abbott, I'm so excited to see him work more because he steals the show in the end there.
It's great.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on Poor Things?
I just quickly wanted to say I threw in that joke, but I just quickly want to say that's perfect pick Matt. If Matt had gotten holdovers, I would have did the same exact thing and picked Poor Things because it's really up there for me. I really love. I can't wait to rewatch it because it's kind of like not really, but it's kind of like Parasite in a way where it's like it's perfect on its horror, its comedy, its drama, like everything works in this movie, I think on even levels. And I can't wait to talk about it more in depth in March. And I love that he picked this because I love that. That's why I was glad that I got my MVP because I wanted something from Poor Things. So
I really like what I've seen of Poor Things. And one thing that I really like about like Bella Baxter's character is how she's very neurodivergent. She's like, this world doesn't make sense. This world's weird. And like just her exploration of it is, I think, really good. That's why I'm really excited to rewatch it with that kind of lens and really watch out for that. And it wasn't in my top few, but that's because I still want to rewatch it and see if I really start, because I like it a lot. I just don't love it quite yet, but I think I probably will.
And you said this world's weird and I want to see it with that lens. And that's exactly what they do with the cinematography and production design. They make the world look weird. They make it look like a weird lens. They use weird lenses because that's what it's like to see this world for the first time, this crazy effed up world. I love it.
Fisheye lens.
Yes.
Lens. Yeah. Poor Things is my third favorite. You guys have taken my top 3 movies.
Sorry, Dan.
So I'm down to my 4th movie of the year. Hopefully that's it.
There's other great ones.
But I love Poor Things. I think it's fantastic. Great pick. Great pick. I had a feeling it wasn't going to fall to me, but you never know, But good pick, Matt.
There you go. So I'm up. I think I've sorted out that I'm going to wait till the last round to get my MVP, and if it comes back to bite me, it comes back to bite me. But I'm going to go with my TV series. This one is one very rarely will I get through a whole show in a year, because it's like I just have so many movies to watch and so many other projects for the channel that like TV is always kind of comes last, and that's kind of unfair. But it's also just because it's the biggest time commitment. But there's one show where I watched it. First episode, I was like, oh, I'll throw on the second one. And I ended up watching the whole series in 8
God
hours,
damn it.
sitting on the couch watching the whole series in 8 hours. And I was like, this is great. And I went home for the weekend. I was like, Mom, you should check out the show. And she watched it, and we sat there and watched it again, 8 hours, 16 hours spent the whole week just watching the show. It's interesting because it kind of blends my favorite worlds of like kind of SNL style, like creating a funny character and like committing to the character of it, while also being in the kind of the reality television vein of like just seeing how someone real interacts with something fake around them, kind of like Impractical Jokers type thing. So I'm going with Jury Duty. I think Jury Duty is one of the most interesting experiments of TV we've seen lately. It's a bunch of actors playing characters, and then you have one real guy who's not an actor amidst all the others, and they kind of go through a whole court trial. And what you see is you start to see what a good person does in the midst of adversity and awkward situations, and just what a good person does. Now, the thing is, they picked a really good person. I'd love to see the version where they pick someone who's just like kind of also like a little bit of an asshole and like judges these people. And, I think it helps the fact that they picked a guy who's really, really good and kind of normal and plain and kind of bland and boring. But I think that makes it so much better because you have so many amazing, colorful characters around him. I mean, I think I heard that this guy, Ronald, who's an amazing person, but he got signed to like a TV deal or whatever. He got like signed by an agent. And I'm like, I like that he's like getting a career out of it, but also like all these other actors are like doing, in my opinion, harder work because they also have to keep this act on for so long. And the fact that none of these other actors are being talked about, except for like James Marsden, obviously, who was already a celebrity, it kind of sucks because like I really do think all those actors should be getting contracts and stuff and becoming bigger actors because of their work in this. I think it's some of the most impressive stuff. Like, because I don't think I could hold up, playing one of those characters for as long as they did, because it was a whole week or a half, and they were staying at the hotel with him. Like they had to be on 24/7, which is so impressive and so amazing. So I love Jury Duty. It's a great experiment. It's one I flew through twice in a row, even with ads on Freevee. Like, I love this show, and I think it's just one of the best of the year because it's the most unique of the year, I think. So and I don't watch a lot of the long running, like I know there's a big one that everyone's going to expect to be taken today. I don't know if anyone's going to take it, but I'm not, because I just haven't gotten around to it, even though it is probably the series of the year. I'm going with the one that I like the most because I saw it and I got through it, and that's Jury Duty.
I'm glad that you took it because of that, because you have a limited scope, but that was the one that I wanted so badly. I was going to take that. So, you know what? The next time I steal something from Dylan, I'm not going to be mad. But it was that face that you made. I was like, damn it, Dylan. No, but like I understand 100% why you picked this. Is because it's such an incredible concept and idea, and the way they executed it was flawless. It's so funny, so weird, so real, but not, but also yes. And I can't wait to see how they try to do it again.
Are they doing it again?
If they try to do it again, I'd love to see how they do it again.
Yeah.
Because it was such a novel
right?
It's such a novel thing that they did, and I think James Marsden was perfect. I'd love for them to do like another lovable actor, maybe like Ryan Reynolds or something like that would be fun.
Yeah. I would like to see like them try to do like you have one real flight attendant and then a bunch of actors on a plane, and all the actors have to like fuck with the flight attendant type deal or something like that, where it's like because you can't do I don't think you could do the jury thing again. I think it was a big enough hit that people would like catch on really quick. I think you need to put it in a different scenario, like even like
a restaurant.
You could do a restaurant, but it's like it would almost need to be like you work in the kitchen staff all week, like not like interacting with guests, because why would the same guest come in every day for a week? Like I think though there could be some fun ideas to play with.
But sure. I did adore that show, so I want a great pick, and I'm mad about it. But I have other stuff that I can pick, so
thank you.
I'll let you have that one.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate it.
If you guys are interested in more of this, there are 3 seasons of the Joe Schmo Show, which was the
is that
it's the same. There's basically the first 2 seasons are like Big Brother, but everyone in the house is
an actor
except for one. except for in season 2, there's 2 people who aren't actors.
Cool.
And then season 3 is like a search for the next like Dog the Bounty Hunter type thing.
Oh, cool.
So like so they're all funny shows. I will tell you, binging that show, I binged all 3 seasons really quick. You start to question things.
It's very bingeable,
Like you start to question reality around you, like
right. Yeah.
forgetting
Like,
that you have to like. It's not even that am I being duped. Almost like I'm trying to remember which things are real and which, like, it's weird. It's very weird. Anyway, I haven't watched those in a few years, so I don't know how well they hold up. But yes, this show is very funny. I really, really enjoyed this show. I would say that, and I don't think I'm tipping any picks here, but I would say that one of our MVPs could be the woman who played Janine, who was like the one who was close to, because she was so real. She felt like a real person. Everything she did felt so real.
Yeah.
And she was like really, really funny. So I think that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
I thought she was really good. James Marsden's great. And we talked about, here's the thing. We had talked about on our Discord the idea of the traders happening with actors in there. And everybody was like agreeing that like you could only really do it if they were all actors. I disagree with that. I think you get someone like James Marsden, someone like what's his name? Sonic the Hedgehog. What's his name? Oh God.
Ben
Schwartz. Ben Schwartz and like Danny Pudi. Some people who are like good at improv but also like pretty serious about things. Like they can be like serious about things. Then you get those 3, put them with all the reality stars that they could be fine. Anyway. That's not the point. I just wanted to make that point. I like the show, and it's a good pick.
Yeah.
I started watching it, and I just couldn't get into it.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean it's a very niche concept, and you have to like that kind of vibe of a show because it's not scripted, really. I mean, it's all improv. So
yeah, I still haven't seen it. It takes a lot for me to add a TV show to my list because my TV show list is so long.
Yeah.
But with the way you guys are talking about it, I'll probably add it to my list.
Cool. All right, Chad, what are you gonna pick?
Oh shit! I had so much time to think about it too. Okay, you already took the one show that I wanted to do. I don't know if. Hold on, I got my performer. I got my film.
You got performer and film, yeah.
Oh shit! What did I do to my list here? Hold on. Okay. Someone might take my anticipated. I have a couple other ones, and I don't think anyone's going to take my scene.
Hold on. Am I wrong that your favorite show ended in 2023, or like your second favorite show or whatever?
I don't think it did. I think it was 2022, and it wasn't my necessarily my second favorite.
I mean, but like your favorite show of the last several
2022.
years.
Yeah, no, that was because of the SAG. Yeah, Better Call Saul is what we're all.
Okay.
That's not eligible because it ended in 2022.
Definitely would have picked it if it was.
Yeah, and because of the strike, the awards were supposed to be September anyway.
That's right.
Because of the strike,
that's why I'm confused. Okay, there we are.
So I'll go with.
I think Chad picked Better Call Saul last year.
I think he did too.
Yes.
Now you're talking about.
Hell yeah.
I'll go with my.
Got 17 minutes, Chad.
All right, I'll go with my film. Actually, I'll take my show later. I'll go with my film. I'm gonna go with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes as my anticipated, because I just adore that whole franchise. Well, not necessarily the older ones. I love the original older one, and I think some of the ones that came after that are fine. But as soon as Rise was so surprising, and then it just kept getting better and better from there. Like I adore Dawn and War. I think Kingdom is going to be very interesting because it's one of those where it has to be good. I think to for the future of the franchise to look good. But I'm very optimistic about it. I think it's going to be really interesting to see where we go post Caesar. And the trailers look really good. And this is, apart from Dune 2, I think this is going to be one of the biggest movies, that people rave about. And I really hope it gets it because I just want to see this franchise continue to wow us. And I'm very, very, the apes just keep getting more and more realistic every time. So
I was a little worried about the Caesar of it all, but then I saw the trailer and it was like, okay, nope, we're in good hands. Like the trailer for me, always, it's kind of like what Matt was saying with Challengers. Like every time it's on, I'm like, eyes to the screen. Like I don't get tired of that trailer either because it's just short enough to where it's like, it's just a nice little hug at the movies right before you sit down for whatever you're about to see.
I'm very excited for it. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I see the trailer, I love it. It looks like Matt Reeves' version of the Apes movies. Problem is, I don't know if it's going to be like that, and it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. Rise is great, and it was not made by Matt Reeves. Yeah. I just think those two. I think the two Matt Reeves Apes movies are the best in the entire series, and then Escape and Conquest are right behind it for me. But I think that those two are Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is one of the best sci-fi movies in the last decade or however long ago that was. I really love those two movies, and so I get nervous about it, but also I'm very excited. I'll be there night one. Like I'm going to be in the theater watching. But yeah, it does make me a little nervous.
Any other thoughts on the Planet of the Apes, Carly, Dan?
I agree with Matt about what he said about Dawn. Like that's one of my favorite sci-fi movies ever. I think only Arrival beats it for me. I recently I recently watched the whole trilogy because before I'd only seen parts of the first and second one, and I'm really excited to see more. It's not on my list, but I think that's just because I don't know much about what it's going to be quite yet. But I'm definitely going to be there when it comes out, and I'm really excited for it.
Cool.
I cannot wait. I love the other three films, so cannot wait. Good pick, Chad.
Yeah, great pick, Chad. All right, Carly, you're up.
Oh no,
y'all are very taken aback when it's your turn. Meanwhile, I've like got my next one ready to go. I'm like, I'm nervous. It's my nervous energy coming through.
So both TV and movie, I genuinely don't know. Okay, I'll go with my anticipated. Let's see. What do I have? Okay. Sorry, 1 second. I know. Okay, I found it. All right, it's between two. I'm gonna. I really want to talk about both of them, but I'll pick the gay one.
Of course.
Love Lies Bleeding that's one of one of the indies I'm most excited for. I've been excited for it since I heard the premise of Kristen Stewart dates a bodybuilder, and then I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, it's a lot more than that. Like when I first heard it, I thought it would be like a typical biopic type thing. But like the trailer looks really good. It looks like a really interesting thriller. It has a female director, which is awesome because I feel like crime movies, that's a little more rare. And I love to see that. It just looks interesting. Like I don't even really know exactly what it'll be about other than just kind of like a crime film, but it looks really good. And it's another movie releasing in my birthday month.
I was going to say, we're getting it soon, right? March?
Yes, I think it's in March. I don't remember when in March, but
the Sundance people got it already. I'm jealous.
There's a lot of good March movies coming out, but yeah, Love Lies Bleeding. And part of the reason I wanted to shout it out is I think it's one of the slightly lesser known ones. And I'm really excited to see it.
Yeah,
like,
the trailer was awesome. Yeah.
I'll see anything with Kristen Stewart in it.
And
the trailer is awesome, and the bodybuilder is from Oklahoma, or at least the character is. That's what they say in the trailer, and I'm from Oklahoma, so that's cool. I will say that unlike other trailers we've talked about, which I think this trailer is incredible and I love it, rewatchability is not always fun because the more I watch this trailer, the more I piece together what happens in the movie, and it's a little upsetting because I'm like, oh god, I think I'm right. And I don't want to know that, but
that was me with Guardians 3. Yeah,
but otherwise, I'm very excited about this movie. It looks really great. You love an action movie from a female director. You love especially this. Like it feels like, it's kind of to me. It kind of feels like, you know how George Miller had his wife edit Mad Max Fury Road because like there's a different perspective that's needed here. Right. That's what that trailer feels like. It feels like if a man or someone without certain experiences would have made it, it would have felt very, very standard, but it feels full and It feels robust in a way that makes me very excited.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll probably get a press screening of it. I get all the A24 movies. Kristen Stewart is having a great year.
We all do.
Love Me, and that one. That's the one I didn't have a chance to see from Sundance, but I'll definitely get the screening probably at some point. And I'm a big fan of Kristen Stewart. She's really had a great renaissance of her career after the Twihards and the people ruined her career, try to ruin her career. But she took her career by the balls and said, "This is the kind of thing that I want to do. These are the kind of interesting filmmakers I want to work with. These are the kind of projects." And she went. Her and Robert Pattinson went, and they're just incredible, both of them.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I adore Kristen Stewart, like all the way back to Panic Room. And then I'm kind of a defender of her in Twilight. Maybe not in like that one movie where it's memeable and stuff, but like throughout the whole franchise, I think she's really good. But I love her evolution to now, and her performance in Spencer floored me. I just love that movie, and I love her so much in it. And I'm so excited for this movie too. I'm glad Carly picked it and is highlighting it, because I'm like now looking at the poster and it's revenge gets ripped, and I'm just like really excited. Like the poster's really cool. It's just like a ripped lady with a gun, and I'm like it's sexy. It's a thriller. It's gonna be like actiony. It looks like, and it's an indie. So like that's just really really cool. I'm also sad that this wasn't one that was available online, because I probably would have checked it out. And so now I'm just going to be anticipating it for so long. Great choice, Carly.
There you go. So we got sexy ripped girls with guns. You got sexy tennis players, sexy popcorn buckets. I mean, lot to be anticipated for next year. Dan,
can I
get two picks
I don't
back
think
to
anybody's going to pick my most anticipated. So can I just do two, since they're both kind of similar in a way, and they both fit together in a kind of a genre together, and I just feel like they go together. And these two movies go together. I think they're going to.
Are you picking it now?
Double feature, yeah.
Say it, and we can always veto it if we don't.
Well, it's Blitz and Lee. Blitz is about World War II by Steve McQueen, and Lee is about a photographer, a model turned photographer during World War II, and they're both starring. One starring Saoirse Ronan and the other starring Kate Winslet. They're kind of two World War II movies together with two female leads. They both premiered at Toronto, though. So does that count?
That can count because it's going to be coming out wide. But I would settle on one for the graphic, even though you're bringing them up as like, I'm excited for these movies. Let's settle on one.
I'm not concerned about the advantage he would get by those two movies.
But just in the spirit of the draft, like let's settle. Pick one. I would pick one, maybe Blitz, because I think it's a little more high profile. Because it's coming to Apple and stuff, and then you can say though you're also excited for Lee because of the World War II.
Yeah. I was gonna go with Blitz originally, but I was like, maybe they'll let me have two for this. Blitz. I'm a big. You guys know, Chad and Dylan know I'm a big, massive fan of Steve McQueen. Off of 12 Years a Slave is one of my favorite movies of all time. I know, really, I love that movie. I think that movie is an incredible movie.
Really
I don't care what you think about it, whatever. And Steve McQueen with Michael Fassbender is really Small Axe is great, but he's worked with Fassbender great, and some of the things they've done. So this is the first real like female starring role centric thing he's done, and so I'm really looking for with Saoirse Ronan. She's been on fire lately. So she's Blitz,
getting that Oscar someday soon. I know it.
And Kate, I wouldn't be surprised. Kate Winslet wins another Oscar. I mean, just I love World War II stuff, and I love stories about people I don't know anything about, and that's the thing about these movies. They look like they're really interesting about stories about things that I didn't know anything about. So I can't wait for these movies.
Yeah. Any thoughts on these Blitz or Lee? No?
They
I
both
don't
sound
remember
great.
what they are, to be honest.
They both sound. I remember hearing about both of them. They both sound really good. I will say that Steve McQueen made Lovers Rock, which was my second favorite movie of 2020 or something like that. Like I really loved that movie. But I'm sure that they're going to be. I'm sure that they're going to be good.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Dan, we'll round us out with your fourth pick here, the first pick in the fourth round. What are you going to go with here?
What do I have left to pick?
You have picked your MVP series and anticipated, so you have to pick a movie and a scene from a movie or show this year.
I'm gonna go with a scene. I think when you sabotage a bunch of people and you steal their house, I think you're definitely gonna run through the house naked.
Yes.
And I think that's what I would do.
Yes.
I mean, when I'm poisoning people and having them die and all this kind of stuff, and I'm gonna steal their house, I'm just gonna run through the house naked. That's
Murder
what
on the
Spoilers
dance
for
floor,
Saltburn,
baby.
but okay.
I just think that's when you got a mansion to yourself. You got yourself a mansion, and you're just like, hey, what am I gonna do with my mansion? Oh, and I have a butler too. You know, I'm just gonna run through my house naked. You know what I mean? So that's I'm gonna go with the.
It's a great final beat for that movie. I agree.
Yeah,
That's great pick.
I've been saving that one for the whole time, waiting to give that away. I love it. Barry Keoghan.
He was saving it too.
Job, kid. You're amazing. You're amazing.
The ball's on that guy. Literally, I mean, in more ways than one.
You're well hung, Barry Keoghan.
Dylan.
We just lost all advertisement for doing
this
Dylan.
episode's surprisingly.
This is a hornier episode than I expected.
Very horny episode, Chad.
I think before Dan's thing, you should throw in a Saltburn spoilers thing.
Honestly, if they don't know about it now, they're living under a rock at this point.
Maybe. But no, I actually really love that pick because I normally don't like stuff like this in movies, but I think it's very well earned and very tasteful at the end. I think this movie is so incredible. I could talk about it a lot now because it's not a Best Picture nominee. But yeah, I think Saltburn's incredible. It is. God, this should be in my top 10 actually, because I do think the way everything flows through it, and then what you learn at the very end. I mean, you can kind of guess a little bit about what's going on, but I think when they like sell it at the end, it's so earned. And like you said, Dan, that's his victory lap. And I love that victory lap.
The whole 9 yards, inches.
So well done. We talk about Emma Stone's brave performance. What about Barry Keoghan's brave performance this year?
He goes there. He goes to a level that you never thought somebody could go to. Like, this kid's been really doing good, and then he goes to this level. Like, he's going for it. You know what I mean?
Great pick, man.
What I love about this scene is how, in the context of the movie, by the time you get here, how inoffensive it is compared to the rest of the film.
Right.
It's almost normal. It's almost like the most normal thing that happens in that movie with that character at that point. I really love that. And yes, it's a great way to end it. It reminds me of, I don't know, just like, I love a good dance scene at the end of the movie, or music scene where something's happening to music.
White noise.
White noise, exactly.
Yes.
Oh my God. That type of stuff. I really love that. Characters singing to the camera at the end of a movie, like that kind of stuff. And you have like a good song sequence at the end of the movie. I love it. So this really hit for me as well.
Cool. Carly, any thoughts on Murder on the Dance Floor?
The scene didn't even cross my mind, but I think it's a great pick. Like, I feel like even people that don't love Saltburn would appreciate this pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great song. It's a great scene. It's a great ending to the movie. I love it.
I guess I can say this now. I was going to save this for an announcement later, but there are a few new categories coming to the Pickle Awards this year, and one of them is Best Needle Drop or Cover of a Pre-Existing Song. Ooh. So maybe Saltburn will make the cut there.
Well, Saltburn, I have a theory that Emerald Fennell made Saltburn just to have an excuse to have it in the 2000s to play some of her favorite songs from the 2000s.
And she was a little bit horny, and she wanted to see Barry Keoghan run through the house naked.
That's her excuse.
Be true.
You would not have done it otherwise. So there you
go. Anyway, Carly, you have 2 picks left. You've got your MVP, you got your scene, you got your anticipated. You just need a series and a movie.
I'm gonna wait on my movie, not because because I just don't want to pick it yet. I don't know. I have like my top 3 are still on the board, and I
If
don't
it helps,
know.
you're also the only other person left to pick a movie. So
That doesn't help. I need
I was just
someone to
gonna-
narrow down my list.
well, yeah, but you'll pick before Dan in the next round. Is what I
I
meant. So
know.
like Chad, myself, and Matt have already taken ours. So you should
I
pick your series
know.
just strategically. And yes, I can go till 4:30. By the way, guys. So I have an extra half hour. We're good. I know
Okay.
people are probably like, "Are we ending now?" No, we're gonna continue, but we do need to.
Okay, Okay, I will go with Shrinking.
Ooh, okay.
I mean, no, good. You narrowed one down. That's one of the 3. Okay.
So Stacy actually recommended this. Well, she didn't recommend this. She was watching it a lot, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll watch it. And I think it's such a touching, funny series. Like when I started it, I didn't really know what to expect out of it, and like it's just so fantastic. Like some of the jokes in it were just so funny. Where I just to pause because I was laughing so hard. Like I love the way it talks about like grief, but also does it like has those comedic moments. Harrison Ford is so good in this. I absolutely love him in this series. Like I love how parts of it could be like cliche, but it doesn't feel. I'm sorry. It doesn't feel. My watch was talking to me.
Interesting question.
It doesn't feel cliche. Like it's really good. I really enjoyed it, and it really shows that Apple TV makes great TV shows. Like they do so good.
Oh yeah.
It like when Apple TV is making a new show, I'm like, it'll probably be good. So
Nice.
really liked it.
Okay, so this is one of my 3 that I was deciding between. So thank you for taking off it. I've said it before. You probably all know Harrison Ford's my favorite actor. Like I love this guy. I didn't think he had anything left in him to surprise me with, and he did in this show. Like I thought he's old. I don't have to expect anything from him anymore. He already has presented enough throughout his career for me to enjoy. I don't have to expect anything from Harrison Ford anymore. And he comes out and he impresses me again, and I really love that. The fact that Bill Lawrence, the creator of the show, him and Jason Segel and Brett Goldstein created it, but the fact that Bill Lawrence isn't as recognizable of a name as a lot of other TV creators is kind of insane to me. Because he created Scrubs, he created Ted Lasso, he created Cougar Town. He is responsible for a lot of really big, high profile series. But I love this show. It makes you laugh, it makes you cry, makes you eat buttered popcorn. It's very good.
Yeah, I need to see it. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good
Oh,
things.
you should watch it. It's so good.
Yeah. Dad, I need to grab a bottle of water. Talk, and then you'll transition to your next pick. I'll be right back.
Oh, me? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, this was also one I was definitely thinking about. Great pick, Carly, because I watched like the first episode or 2 and I didn't get into it. And then a little bit later, I was like, I'm hearing so many great things about like Harrison Ford specifically and the show itself. I'm gonna get back into it. And then when I did, I was like, holy shit, this is actually really incredible. And I really like that it hits on a dramatic level, but also hits on a comedic level. I love the intro song by Ben Gibbard, the Death Cab. I love so much. So Death Cab for Cutie. So that really works for me as well. And then also like one of my favorite parts, because I love Jason Segel in this highly. One of my favorite parts is when he's on the bike crying and saying, "Fuck you, Phoebe Bridgers." I love Phoebe Bridgers, and I totally get that. If you're in a place that is you're just so grieving, and you're trying to connect with people you can't connect with, and it's so melancholy. That music will make you cry. So I really connected with that, and the rest of it. And season 1, I thought had a really great like kind of cliffhanger. So I'm really excited for season 2. So yeah, I think Shrinking is a brilliant pick, Carly. And yes, Apple TV has some of the best shows. I agree.
All right, Chad, what's going to be your pick? You have a show and a scene left.
I know. I'll go ahead and go with my show. I'm gonna go with my scene.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Okay, you
All
said
right.
you have till 4:30, right? All right. It's like
Yes. We still need
trying
to get through 8.
I
We
know,
don't need to use it all on this pick, but yeah.
I know. I'm trying to think of the graphic and like who might steal what, but I don't know.
I could take the hot tub massacre for Winnie the Pooh, put it down, and we can move on.
I'll go ahead and do my scene because I think I have like at least 2 shows that
You said that before, but we still don't believe you.
okay. I'll go with my scene. And I'll pick what's going on?
We thought you were doing
said
a
I'll
bit.
go with my seed 3 times now.
Yeah,
and
you
haven't
keep
given
saying
us
I'll go with my
scene.
scene. No, it's funny.
I think hold on, actually, I think I'm gonna go with my scene though.
Okay, it was a bit because at first I thought he wasn't aware it was a bit. He was actually getting upset, and then he made
I
it.
wasn't, but then I caught on, and then I doubled down, tripled down.
I think you might want to
okay.
go with your scene, Chad.
Yeah, I'll go with my scene actually. Thanks, Dyl. So yeah, I'm gonna pick. I don't think anyone's gonna pick this scene, but I'm gonna pick it anyways. I'm gonna pick a scene from John Wick Chapter 4.
Damn
and
it!
it is the staircase scene.
Damn it!
God
Oh,
damn it.
man.
Wow.
I wanted it. Okay.
Oh,
No, you didn't, Matt.
I have things to
Did
say.
you really?
that's
What?
a
Did
brilliant
you really want it,
scene.
Matt? I thought you didn't like that movie.
Yeah.
I don't, and I hate that scene in particular. That's what I
What?
Oh, that's why you're upset. Okay.
Okay, no, I was genuinely upset because like that was like in my top 5. I might not have picked it, but that's a great scene, Chad.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Cool. Well, I'm glad that it's lauded because I do think that scene is well earned. I love the John Wick series. I think each one of them is incredible in its own way. Some people say the first one is the best and it's just kind of just actiony the rest of the way. I think John Wick Chapter 4, when it's like this is going to be like almost a 3-hour movie, like Oppenheimer, like Killers of the Flower Moon level, like that long. And yet it earns the length because it's some of like the best action you've ever seen. And I think the emotional core in it is incredible. The through line really, really works. And I think the ending is incredibly earned. That's it about the movie. But the reason I mention all that about the movie and the series is because I think it's all leading up to this like stair sequence. It's like him almost like ascending to a new level, to like a new like stairway to heaven kind of a deal.
It's a very biblical metaphor.
Yeah,
for sure.
and he's like, it's so like he's worked throughout this whole movie to get here. He's finally ascending these stairs, but then he keeps getting knocked down, and you're just like, he gets like near the top, and then he gets knocked down the whole way down, and it's like almost comical. You're like,
it
my
is. Yeah.
God,
Comedy as well. Yeah.
this is insane. So yeah, it's a great comedy, great drama, and great action. It's like some of the best like fighting that you'll ever see. And you just can feel the pain that he's going through trying to reach the top of these stairs. And yeah, I mean, there's so many sequences in that movie that you could pick, but I don't know. I think this one is the best one for all those reasons. And just visually, it's incredible. Metaphorically, it's incredible. And I just love the sequence. So I thought about, basically, I had like 4 big scenes I was thinking of, but the 2 that I thought of was Oppenheimer bomb sequence, right? Oh, but the stair sequence from John Wick. So I was very on like Dylan's level of thinking with scenes, I guess. So I picked that one.
Yeah, I love it too. You said all the reasons I love about it. I think it's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, action sequences. And that movie has so many great ones, but this one just is so well done. The stunt work, it's amazing. Cool.
Yeah, great scene. One of my favorite movies of the year. Just, I don't know what Dan Lautzen has to do to get an Oscar nomination for cinematography. I think the Academy has something against him because it's like this guy can't get a break. I mean, he's one of the best cinematographers going. Phenomenal movie. If you don't think there's going to be a John Wick 5, I got some land in Alaska you can buy.
And then you have Keanu Reeves and Donnie Yen back to back in that sequence. It's incredible.
Yeah. Any thoughts on John Wick's stair sequence?
I don't like it.
It's okay. I know you don't. I know.
Here's the thing. I like this series. I don't love this series. I like the first one a lot, and then for me, it just kind of gets really convoluted and doesn't really pay off in all the ways that I want it to most of the time. this kind of did that for me. I didn't love this movie. I'd like to rewatch it to see if maybe it was something about the setting or how I felt that day or whatever. But if I had to see him roll down those goddamn steps one more motherfucking time, I was going to shoot myself. No, not really. But I was going to. I was just like, oh my God. And there's like a timer happening with this, and I'm like, we've surely let this timer elapse. And it's like, I don't know, there was just this frustration that I couldn't get past, and maybe in a different movie or at a different time I would have appreciated that frustration, because I know that that's part of the enjoyment of that scene, the tension, but I just hated it so much.
Yeah,
it would help if I liked Donnie Yen's character at all for me to enjoy this movie more, but I didn't, and that was such a big part of it that I just kind of just wasn't digging the movie as a whole. But then when we get to this, I'm just like, God, this movie's never going to end, because he's going to keep falling down the stairs forever. And then the ending of that movie happens, and I don't want to spoil it, but there is going to be a John Wick Chapter 5. I don't know why they're even pretending like there's not at the end of that movie. So I'm going to rewatch it, and I'll get back to you all and let you know if I still hate every goddamn time he falls down those freaking stairs.
That's fair. All right. I do have to speed this along. Carly, do you have anything else to say about stairs? No? Dan? Okay, cool. All right. Because Matt has chosen this scene as not his MVP, I'm still going to pick my MVP here, just because it's like, if I were to not and then Matt just picks it, I'm going to regret it. So I'll pick my MVP now. I know we had mentioned this person's maybe done 3 or 4 things this year. I counted, this person's done 14 projects this year. And I know it's not quality versus quantity. I know it's, the argument is quality, but I would argue all the quality of this character or of this actress's this season has all been there. The quality is matching the quantity. So I'm just going to list off the projects, and once it clicks, you'll probably figure it out once I list them off. Recurring character voice on Big Mouth, voice on the show Mulligan, on Kiff, on Clone High. Those are the voice work that she did this year. She also did the Ninja Turtles movie. She was also in Spider-Verse, 2 of the biggest animated films of the year. She was in Theater Camp. She was in Bottoms. She was in The Sweet East, 3 of her live action films. She is the lead of The Bear. She is in Abbott Elementary. She's in History of the World Part 2. She was a creative consultant on the Eric Andre Show, and she appeared in I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson and this season of Black Mirror. She is Io Adebri, who I think is one of the greatest talents working right now, but also the fact that she was in not just so many projects, but like The Bear is arguably, and I don't know if someone's going to pick it, but arguably the biggest show right now. Now that another show has ended, it is the biggest show on television, right? Or available watch right now. I think Bottoms was one of the best comedies of the year. I think Black Mirror is consistently a big craze whenever it comes back. Big Mouth, one of the marquee animated series out there, but also Ninja Turtles and Spider-Verse. She isn't the lead of Spider-Verse, obviously, but Spider-Verse is a massive film this year, and she had a hand in all of these. And it started with Theater Camp at Sundance, which I loved her in, and that was my first experience with her before I realized it was like, oh, she's the voice of that character in Big Mouth. Oh, she's going to be in the Ninja Turtles and Spider-Man. Oh, she's going to be in Bottoms. Like, she kept popping up in things, and I'm like, wait, this show The Bear, she's in that too. Oh, she's the lead in that. She's great in that. I think she's just exceptional across the board. She's earning all the awards she's been given. 14 projects in 1 year is nothing to scoff at. It is amazing to see her work, and the fact that she has quality in every single one of those. The fact that her smallest role is Spider-Verse says a lot about how good of a year she's having. That the smallest role she had is in a movie like Spider-Verse. It goes to show how great of a year she's had. But I am also going quality because I think all of those quantitative elements are also full of quality. So Io Adebri, it was the reason I started this category last year, because I wanted to pick Jenna Ortega. This year, she's my Jenna Ortega. She's just in so much stuff this year that I'm so happy to see her in. So yeah.
I knew it.
Did you mention Ninja Turtles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Who plays April O'Neil?
Mm-hmm.
April O'Neil, the voice of April. And
I wrote down
Chad real quick. I knew Dylan before. As soon as I got on it, I saw what the categories are. I said, Dylan's going to choose Io Adebri, and I'm going to pick her just to piss him off. And I said, nah, I'm not gonna, he's never going to have me back ever again. If on anything.
Carly said the same to me privately. She was like, I know who you're going to pick, but like, and I was like, don't you dare. No, but I would have been happy if anyone else got her, just because I want her to be represented here. I probably should have picked her sooner just so I could have her on my board, but it sounds like picking Jury Duty when I did was good for strategic purposes, and Dune 2. And Oppenheimer. So I feel like I played the strategy better than I usually do. So I'm happy with myself.
Yeah, she was the first name that popped in my head when I heard the category. I was like, oh, she's someone's gonna pick her.
Yeah, she's been.
I didn't realize she was in that many things. I was saying 4 things, and then you said 14. I was like, holy crap! I didn't realize she was in that many things.
Yeah,
when I couldn't figure out who you were talking about, it's because I was like, I know who he likes. I've never heard you talk about her, so like, I don't know. It's weird. Like,
it's strategic.
She was on my list, but it didn't occur to me that she was going to be on your list for some reason. I didn't know you'd seen The Bear.
I haven't finished The Bear, which is the thing. I think also Bottoms was what solidified it because that was her big leading role of the year. But she's been great in so many other things.
She's great. I love her, and she was not my number one pick because I picked a performance rather than a body of work for this year. But yeah, it's incredible. She's incredible. I'm glad that she is represented because
her speeches are so great. I love her speeches.
The Irish thing is so funny because I don't think she's actually Irish, is she?
Oh, I know. Never mind that.
I think it was one of those things where like she made an offhand joke or whatever, and the Irish community is like adopted. I don't know. It's a great long-going joke if it is.
It's the same in the same way that Babadook is a gay film. It was a joke that turned into a thing.
And also the fact that Shaquille O'Neal is also Irish. So
right.
Yeah. Oh, I got you.
Chad, did you have something to say? Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote down 2 names for this category. I wrote down Emma Stone and Io. So I totally get it. I was thinking about picking her, but I wanted to represent Poor Things in my draft. But Io is an incredible pick. Like you listed off all those. I would say for me, like the biggest quality is The Bear and Bottoms. Yeah. I think she rules in those 2 projects. The rest of them, I don't really I don't know about, or I just like, oh, she's in that. Okay. But I even if she wasn't in all that, I think you got a great pick here just from The Bear and Bottoms. Mm-hmm. So all of that other stuff is just icing on the cake.
And I'm TNT in The Bear and Bottoms and Theater Camper down in the dumps for me.
Oh wow!
Okay.
Well, I knew Dylan loved them.
Wait, which ones do you not like?
Bottoms and Theater Camper garbage. TMNT and The Bear are incredible.
See, I'm the opposite. I don't like TMNT. I don't see the hype, but
I love it.
She's great in it.
I think just from The Bear and Bottoms, she's able to show so much range with her drama and her comedy. So
absolutely,
it's a great pick, dude.
There you go. Yep, masked acting. The favorite scene in theater comp. All right, Matt, you get to round out your board here with a movie. No, just kidding. You did that. A TV show and an MVP.
You guys didn't narrow down my stuff enough, except for Carly
shrinking out of the way.
Shrinking, yeah. I'm going to go with performer here, just so I get a second to think about between the other 2. Has everybody picked their season of TV, or
no?
Other than me,
no.
I did.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go with performer. I went with a performance and not a body of work. If I'd gone with a body of work, it definitely would have been Io Dubrig. But I went with a performance, my favorite performance of the year, which was Divine Joy Randolph from The Holdovers.
Yeah.
I have not been moved by a performance this year like I was moved by her performance in that movie. Paul Giamatti is one of my favorite actors of all time. I thought Dominic Sessa was incredible in his first movie. Like, you don't get a lot of first movies like that. Like that was incredible. But Divine Joy Randolph just moved me in a way that like I said, I hadn't been moved all year, and it's a performance that resonates with me. The fact that she's getting backlash right now on Twitter from some people is pissing me off. People are like, it's not that good. People are, it just happens.
It's the front runner thing. It's what they're doing to Oppenheimer. It's what they're doing to her. It's what they
always do.
It's what they did with Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah.
Yeah. It's things that they always do to everything. But it's like, it's not that good. I'm like, go watch the movie again. Like it.
And then go fuck yourself.
Yeah. And then go fuck yourself. But no, it's a performance that I absolutely love. And, It's my favorite performance of the year, and if it doesn't win an Oscar, we burn the Academy to the ground.
I don't know if you knew this, Matt, but she does have 2 other projects under her belt this year. Rustin, she's great in Rustin.
Oh
She's
yes,
also
she is great in Rustin.
Only
Yes.
Murders in the Building. So you get her.
The
For
I
Murders,
haven't watched the newer season. I haven't watched the new season of.
But you
of
do
that.
get her for technically 3 projects, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, there you go. She's great in Rustin. I forgot that she was in that, but that movie's great. But yes.
There you go. I mean, it's a great performance. We've talked about the holdovers. She's the heart and soul of that. So I agree. It's a great pick. I knew it as soon as I thought about it more. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. It's your favorite. Yeah, cool. All right, let's get to this last round. Matt, you have to now rip the Band-Aid off and pick a series. I know you've waited this long. You have to do it.
I am picking a. I'm okay. This is so hard, but I am going to go with The Bear season 2.
Nice.
It was between that and another one, and I'm sure most of you know what the other one is for me as well. But we'll talk about it in honorable mentions. But Bear, I remember I actually binged both seasons this year. Like I hadn't watched it before, and so I when season 2 was ending, I just binged the whole thing. And I remember messaging our friend Stacy from movie trivia or from the MCU trivia. I remember messaging her because I knew she liked it, and I was like, I think this show is too good. Like it's not just that it's a good show, it's like too good. Like, will anything live up to this? And that's kind of how it felt while I was watching it. I think the actors are incredible in this. I think that the storylines that they do are incredible. I think that they are doing. It's more than just great writing. It's more than just great acting. It's everything is so cohesive and so drawn together so well that it feels like a show that you have to watch and that you just feel so good watching it. I don't know. There's something about it. I really love it. And so I'm going with The Bear season 2.
Yeah, I haven't finished it, so I can't comment.
Great. I did the same thing, Matt. I knew the second season was coming. I said I had missed the first season. I said to myself, you got to knock out the first. And then I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. And I got the second season because I have this thing with Hulu. So they gave me all the episodes. Boom, 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 knocked them all out. And it's so like my buddy's restaurant chain. My buddy owns 3 restaurants. It's not beefs, Chicago beefs. It's cheesesteaks. The family's so similar. I mean, it's like, oh my God, I couldn't believe what I was watching.
Right. Very authentic. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, the Bear's incredible. I love it. I love season 1. I love season 2 as well. And I think Matt's onto something. It's like really just incredible writing. There's the one episode in particular. I won't go in depth with it because I know Dylan still has yet to watch it, but it is particularly like a Christmas episode with
he knows about the feast. I told him about the Feast of Seven Fishes
with the dinner table.
I watched scenes from that episode just because of what it was called. Yeah,
the freaking tension in that episode is just holy shit. It's so uncomfortable but so amazing, and the put the fork down kind of a deal. Yeah. It's just so I just want to watch that season again just to get to that episode again. But yeah, just the comedy in it, the drama in it. It's more drama now, I guess, but kind of like Ted Lasso a little bit. But I will say, just it's so cool that they are able to embody and learn how to cook and do stuff to make it so realistic. So yeah, that's a quality pick, Matt. Good job.
The casting on that show is incredible. Whoever casts that show needs a raise. They need to get all the money.
Episode 7 even outdoes episodes. Outdoes episode 6.
Yeah.
Episode
So any thoughts
how
on
could they outdo episode 6? Episode 7. Oh my God.
It's such a good show.
I still need to see it. I haven't seen it yet. I'm sure when I do, I'll love it.
There you go. All right, so I'm up for scene, and I'll be honest, my favorite scene of the year is from my favorite movie, but I've already picked my favorite movie, so I didn't want to double up. I want to have a little bit more variety. And there's a film that hasn't been picked at all for any categories that, like the Oscars, I feel like is being criminally overlooked. And it got 1 nomination at the Oscars, but I want to represent it somewhere. And there's a scene this year where I just kind of my jaw dropped watching this scene, just like how the hell. And it's not even my favorite performance of the year, but it's just one of those performances and one of those monologues and one of those scenes that is just like, absolutely amazing to watch as just an actor and someone who admires the craft and admires this performer as one of my earliest childhood crushes. It is Natalie Portman's monologue in May December. The way she transforms into Julianne Moore in that monologue, and then at the very end immediately snaps out of it and kind of has that gasp as if she's been holding her breath for like 3 minutes long. It's all one take, all at the camera, and that is some of the most exhilarating acting all year. It's my favorite acting moment of the year. My number one scene, we'll talk about in honorable mentions if someone else doesn't pick it. I think everyone's picked their scene. So I'll just say right now, the Oppenheimer speech after the bomb test is my favorite scene of the year. It's my favorite scene of Nolan's career, where he's given that speech and everything. All the sound drowns out and he hears the stomping and then he sees all the images of the people burning. That is one of the best scenes I've ever seen in a movie. But I already picked Oppenheimer for my film, so I'm going with this one because I think May December is criminally overlooked. This moment is so harrowing and so great, and just kind of, it is a little darkly comedic as well, the way she's able to just nail it so well, and the little lisp and the, you know, like, oh, it's so good. And it's all at the camera. It's scary. It's so good. So I wanted to represent it. It's an amazing scene. I love one take like that. I loved it with Pearl. I loved it with Resurrection with Rebecca Hall. I love scenes like that where it's just like monologue.
If you don't know about acting, that movie really teaches you about what goes into acting. It really does.
Acting, screenplay. Yeah, Dylan, you're making me want to rewatch this movie right now because that is a great scene. That is a great performance. I thought you were going to go with the rooftop scene with Charles Melton.
That's a good one too.
Because I was like, that scene crushed me. But yeah, you're right. It's an overlooked movie because it's like, it's filled with scenes like that and just writing and great acting. And it's just like, how is that not a Best Picture movie? It's almost like you said with, has everybody picked movie?
No.
Okay.
Carly and Dan saw the big movie.
Great.
Since we were talking about the performances in this and how this is a masterclass performance, if you don't think this movie is a comedy at all, you need to rewatch it and consider Julianne Moore's performance. And if it's not a comedic performance, it's a bad performance.
I can't wait to rewatch it from that lens because I'm one who has been like, that's not a comedy. But then I've since heard Dylan and Matt talk about why they think it's a comedy. And then I'm like, okay, I can actually see it from that lens. I'm excited to rewatch it from that.
Wait, we don't have any hot dogs. Like that is just so good. I love it. Oh man, it's like when you cast Jennifer Coolidge in like a serious drama. It's like just by being her, it's kind of like the person. It's like the personality, more so than like quips. Anyway, we have to move on though. Chad, what is your series?
All right, so there's a lot of big series that came out this year, and a lot of the times when they do, everyone's picked series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I have.
Yes.
Okay. So since you have series like Succession and The Last of Us and all these coming out that are like, people are like, it's the best thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, okay, guys, can you just like calm down with these shows? They're good, but like, okay.
Zach, I hope you're not listening.
It's not like the greatest thing that's ever been devised by man. And there's sometimes great shows that are overlooked. I'm a little annoyed because one of my and you'll know what the pick is when I transition to this, because one of my favorite like mini series that ever happened of all time was Midnight Mass by Mike Flanagan.
I know what you're picking.
And it was overshadowed by Squid Game, which I still haven't seen. I want to, but then I'm like, for the longest time, I was like, fuck Squid Game. I'm not going to watch that shit because Midnight Mass should be the show that everyone goes, holy shit, this is one of the greatest things that's ever happened on TV. So I don't think this show that I'm picking now measures up to Midnight Mass because I think that is like a perfect thing ever. But I still love this one. I still love Mike Flanagan. He made The Fall of the House of Usher, and that is my mini series, my show that I'm picking for this one. It's a heart pick. I do think the quality is there. I think it's incredible, even if it's not the best thing that he's done. But some of the like performances in it is incredible. Each episode is structured in a way that, so you at the very beginning of the show, that people have died. So it then kind of goes back. So it's kind of like a Sunset Boulevard type of thing where it's like people have died. How did that happen? Each episode is structured to show you how each one of them died. And the way that they have, structured it. I just think it's so incredible to see that. And there's a through line the whole way through, and all the performances are just incredible. And the way he does all the effects in it and stuff, and just the way it's structured. I've never read the book. I want to, and rewatch the show. But if you haven't seen it, and you haven't seen his other, shows or movies, I say Mike Flanagan is an incredible filmmaker, director, and he is so underrated a lot of the times. I think people should give him more of a chance and check out some of these, because I think this is one of the best shows of the year. And I'm sorry if I shit talked shows that other people liked. I'm so excited to check out Succession, and I really did like The Last of Us, but I'm just annoyed at that the show that I loved is a little bit underrated. But that's my pick.
You sold me. I haven't seen it, so I can't.
I haven't seen it either.
I still need to check it out, but I always love Mike Flanagan stuff. And I agree that Midnight Mass is a masterpiece. It's fantastic.
Yeah. What was the nightclub episode, Chad? At just that, where this thing is going after that episode.
I don't even want to give it away.
Don't give it away. But I would love to.
I'm not going to give it away, but I'm just saying that crazy, right, Chad?
Yeah, that's wild.
All right, so Carly, you and Dan both still have to pick movies from 2023.
Yep.
So what are you going to go with, Carly?
So I'm not going to pick Barbie.
Wow.
I want to, but I like having diversity on my board. So
right, you have two already.
From everyone knows how much I love Barbie. I don't need to talk about Barbie anymore. So it was between two others, either Past Lives, which is my only 5-star film of the year. It's the only film that I love. But I really want to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So I'm picking that one.
Yeah.
And mainly just because I feel like I have a lot more to say about Guardians 3. Like everyone knows Past Lives is a beautiful, gorgeous film. But I want to talk about Guardians 3 a little bit. James Gunn is probably my favorite director, and I think he absolutely blew it away with this film. Like it's so good. Like there's so much heart here with Rocket, with just the found family dynamic with the Guardians always gets to me. It's the reason the Guardians films are my favorite MCU films. I don't love the Gamora plot, but there's literally nothing else in the film that I don't love. Like the emotion, the music, like the film looks amazing.
Yeah,
Rocket's whole arc, like just this family, like I just absolutely love it. I think it's the best comic book film of the year. I can't remember off the top of my head all of them, but
yeah, I agree.
It's either that or Spider-Verse, probably. Yeah.
Oh, Spider-Verse might beat it, but yeah, it's just an amazing film and such a great wrap up. And I'm so excited for James Gunn to blow up the DCU and do something fun with it.
Yeah, it's a great pick. I mean, I think it's a little divisive, but I think all of us really like it here, and I think it's just got so much great heart with the comedy. Like it balances it well. The first time I didn't think so, but the second time I watched it, it flowed much better. Just an amazing group of characters, and it just feels like the perfect ending for every single one of them, which is great.
I need to rewatch it. I really liked it, but I didn't love it like I hoped I would. And hearing you say that a rewatch kind of
helped
some
me
of that,
for sure.
It kind of tuned some of that up. I'm gonna rewatch it soon.
Cool.
Honestly, it helped me as well. When I first thought, because it's maybe divisive because it's so affecting. I think it's like you can't watch it because it's so real and so raw. And I think that's incredible, even if it is sad and scary. But like it balances everything so well. I think the harrowing nature of some of the Rocket plot really it makes the end earned. And ends with his character earns so much when he releases those those animals. Come on now.
When he reclaims the Rocket Raccoon name, that was one of my best scenes of the year. That was on my list. Just good.
So good.
When people talk now about the MCU kind of faltering and they're like, this is the end of the MCU, and then I'm like, what about Guardians 3? They'll go, okay, except for Guardians 3.
Well, yeah, and it's also the MCU film Kevin Feige didn't really put his hand into, which I think is telling, Yeah.
But I think that's a brilliant pick, Carly, because I wanted to pick it, but I had to go holdovers here. But Guardians 3 would have been in my 5 to pick if like everything else had gotten picked, because it was at one point my favorite of the year. And God, it's such an incredible pick.
Yeah.
Such an incredible series, and yeah, it is a great swan song for the Guardians.
Nice. Dan, any thoughts on Guardians? And then we can transition.
Yeah, I love this movie. I love the ending of this movie and how this ended this iteration of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Obviously, in the credits, you know that we're going to see Star-Lord again. And if you know the comics, there's multiple versions of the Guardians of the Galaxy. But I think James Gunn really put his stamp on this movie, and I was glad that Alan Horn and Kevin Feige and Bob Iger came together and brought James Gunn back, so we got to see his conclusion to the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think we needed to see that. Not to have someone else's other version of it. No, we needed James Gunn's work. I needed the High Evolutioner. I needed the arc of Rocket's character to be concluded. I just love it. I love it.
Yeah. All right, Dan. So you're going to be the final pick here, the Mr. Irrelevant pick, your best movie of the year that isn't Oppenheimer, Holdovers, Poor Things, or Guardians of the Galaxy. What's it going to be?
Yeah, well, I mean, my 4's out there. My 4 pick is out there, and I could, but I don't want to get a lot of vitriol online. People, what's a white Caucasian cis male talking about this movie? So
Gotcha.
I'm not going to talk about that movie because I don't want to get a bunch of crap on Dylan's channel.
Why would you
So
get
I'm going to go
crap?
with my sixth favorite movie. I'm going
Wait,
to go with my
wait,
sixth
you
favorite
can
movie.
tell us as an honorable mention, what was the one you were referring to?
American Fiction.
Great
Oh.
movie.
Okay.
Love it.
Yeah, you could've picked it.
I look. People have been giving me crap about my review. I mean, this is whatever. So I'm going to go with my sixth favorite movie because, look, I haven't always been a film critic. I've done a lot of really manual labor type of jobs and some really SHITY type of jobs in my day, and I still kind of do on to some extent. And I don't think these type of people that do this kind of work ever get credit. I think there's a job and there's a place for everybody in the world, and that's what makes the world and all the various towns and cities and countries and companies and so forth run the way we're able to run. And this is a movie that was supposed to be a advertisement for Japanese toilets, and it turned out to be an absolute masterpiece of a film by Wim Wenders. And I think if you don't know anything about Wim Wenders, he did Paris, Texas, he did Wings of Desire. This movie stars a gentleman by the name of Koji Yakusha. And he is basically, his job every day, he wakes up, he plays his cassette tapes from the 1980s, Phil Collins, the Police, U2, these type of Duran, whatever. And he gets in his van and he goes from bathroom to bathroom to bathroom to bathroom all through Japan, Tokyo, Japan, cleaning bathrooms, cleaning toilets. And I just think this is an absolute masterpiece that nobody's talking about. It's one of the greatest movies of 2023 that nobody cares about. Nobody gives two SHIT about it. Did I was that you want to talk about the nomination that I was most happy about? The
movie is Perfect Days. If anybody
yes,
not pick that up
title
yet.
now.
Perfect Days. It's called Perfect Days, and it's about a man who goes around Tokyo, Japan, cleaning toilets all day, and it's an absolute masterpiece of a movie. I don't care what people think. You could SHIT on this movie if you want. No pun intended. It's a masterpiece. No one's going to vote for my draft. I'm going to be last place in voting on the drafts. But I said, you know what? I'm going to talk.
Barry Hogan naked on your draft, though. You never know.
I care about, because this is the most underrated type of job in the face of the planet. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I said I want to talk about Perfect Days.
I haven't seen this one yet, and I really want to. But like Wim Wenders is like one of the gods of cinema. Wim Wenders, sorry. I had to say the German way. Wim Wenders. I did a whole course on Wim Wenders in college about his movies, and it was just one of the most life-changing, eye-opening things. I mean, Wings of Desire is obviously one of the best films ever. People love it, but I just love all his work, his documentary work, all that. So I need to check this out.
For a second,
I want to see this. Like, I've been wanting to see this ever since I heard of the premise. Like, I can't wait.
For a second, I thought Dan was talking about some sort of like subplot from Godzilla -1 or something. But I was like, "What is this Godzilla -1?"
My God, imagine Wim Wenders Godzilla -1. That'd be nuts.
I don't know anything about the director, so. But what I want to say, real quick, Matt, I'm sorry. So what I want to say is that I'm so glad that Dan picked something like this. Because like it sounds like it's very underrated, that a film that he loved, and sometimes that's more important than winning the draft. It's like Dan's opening up people's eyes to a movie that probably no one would watch otherwise. So
right,
yeah.
I started watching it this morning through Waze. I got access to it, and it was great for the first 10 minutes. Because there's no dialogue in the first 10 minutes. After when they start speaking the dialogue, you can see the English subtitles behind whatever language they put on top of it.
Oh, the screener you have?
So I could not see. I could not read it. I couldn't understand. So I had to.
Was it the screener I sent you?
It is.
Oh, sorry. I didn't watch it yet, so I'm sorry.
It's got this movie has got this man has his whole routine, and it's just like if you went through your life and you had your routine every day, and you went through this routine every single day of your life, and it's just like he makes the most of his life, and I can't say enough of it.
Right. And I love what Chad brought up too about Dan picking this as like a very obscure pick, because my number 2 on my list was The Taste of Things, which I know a lot of other people haven't seen. So like I love that, like, you know, world cinema, and Beyond Utopia was my number 3. So like it's like all these films that I feel like a lot of people are like, you know, not necessarily as in tune with, but have heard, but not maybe like explored as deeply as like Oppenheimer, Holdovers, Poor Things, Barbie. But like I really do love that you brought it up. Okay, so before we get into honorable mentions really quick, because I have to run soon, but I'm going to rattle off everyone's draft board, and then we'll just go around just saying our honorable mentions. But first off, Matt's draft board is The Trinity Test from Oppenheimer, Challengers, Poor Things, Divine Joy Randolph, and The Bear Season 2. Dylan, Oppenheimer, Dune Part 2, Jury Duty, Iowa Debris, and Natalie Portman's speech from May December. Chad, The Holdovers, Emma Stone, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, The Staircase Scene from John Wick, and Fall of the House of Usher. Carly, I'm Just Ken, Ryan Gosling, Love Lies Bleeding, Shrinking, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Dan, Bradley Cooper, Picard Season 3, Blitz, Murder on the Dance Floor, and Perfect Days. So there you go. Those are our draft boards. Very, very solid. This is going to be one of the toughest ones, I'm sure, for people to vote for. So if you're listening now, it should be up to vote now. That draft board should be ready by the time you're hearing this. Let's rattle them off really quick. Matt, you're in the top left. I'll start with you for movies. Any other movies you considered?
Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Was my number 1 for a long time, but that's just the coming of age thing in me. And then Barbie, which did not get picked.
Yes. It got represented. It just didn't get picked as film, but that's fine. I also considered, as I just said, Beyond Utopia, The Taste of Things, All of Us Strangers, all which would have lost me the draft because not a lot of people haven't seen All of Us Strangers. And then Oppenheimer and The Holdovers are my other 2. So, Chad, any honorable mentions for film? You're muted.
You're on mute.
I was very basic. The other movie that I was going to maybe pick was American Fiction, because I saw it recently and really loved it. So yeah, but yeah.
Cool. Carly, any honorable mentions for films?
I have to mention Barbie, even though I didn't pick it.
Right.
Because I love Barbie. Still, the Michael J. Fox documentary was on my list. I really love that one. And Priscilla. Oh, nice. And American Fiction that we already.
No,
a lot of American Fiction love here. I love it. Dan.
Yeah, you know, just because I'm a white guy doesn't mean I can't understand what American Fiction is about.
No, you can, and that's why
I laugh my ass off at that.
I hate that people are giving you hate for it.
Yeah, oh yeah. That first joke, if you don't think that first gag in American Fiction is funny, you just don't have a sense of humor. It's one of the funniest things I've seen all year. And that sets the tone for American Fiction the rest of the way. Sterling K. Brown so deserved an Oscar nomination. He was ridiculously good.
Yeah. Any other mentions, Dan?
The Continental, I'm telling you, this show is freaking amazing, and not enough people are talking about it. It's got that whole 70s dirty, grimy taxi driver vibe going for it, and I'm telling you, it is really good. I know, oh, God forbid, it's got Mel Gibson. I can't watch it. All right, shut up. Also, Monarch, Legacy of Monsters on Apple Plus. Watch it if you're a Monsters lover. Freaking fills in the gaps and it has some really great stuff in it. Really great character development. Really great on shows.
All right. Yeah, Matt, continue along with shows. Any honorable mentions for TV?
Just Succession was my third one. I really love that series, and I thought the final season was incredible. It also has a scene that I considered, but we'll come to that.
Yeah, I consider the Bear season 2. Obviously, I considered Loki season 2, even though it was good but not great for me. I also one of my favorite seasons, modern seasons of my favorite show, Survivor 45, was amazing. I considered the U.S. Trader season 1, even though I think in coming out in the same year as the UK season, this season was rough. But UK ended in 2024, so I couldn't count it. Otherwise, the Traders UK probably would have made my list. And then The Last of Us. Chad, any honorable mentions for shows?
It's actually going to bring up Traders US season 1 because you and other people got me into that show, and I just kind of fell in love with it. And now I'm trying to get more into reality TV. So there you go.
Yeah, Carly, any TV?
I absolutely loved Loki. Gen V was a really good show this year. It was hard not picking that. Last of Us, and then Abbott Elementary. I'm a teacher, so I love a good teacher sitcom. And if all mine got taken, I'd Poker Face and Succession as backups because I do plan to eventually watch Poker Face. Nice. And I would have picked Percy Jackson, but Dyl vetoed me. So I
did tell you ahead of time, yeah, because it's still going. So yeah, who knows? It might fumble the ball. Who knows?
The holdover.
How dare you?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Probably will.
Another running scene with Paul Giamatti chasing Dominic Sessa through the school. Who runs like that though? I mean,
well, let's talk about some honorable mention scenes. I'll start because I just have such a long list. The Trinity test from Oppenheimer, the speech from Oppenheimer, Bernstein conducting Mahler at the cathedral. That scene is so freaking amazing. In Maestro, Dog Days Are Over from Guardians 3, the Christmas Eve party of the holdovers, crushing. The May December monologue was there. The crash in Ferrari is one of the best scenes in a movie that's just okay, but that scene is just so amazing. One of Michael Mann's best scenes ever. Murder on the Dance Floor from Saltburn was on my list. The final scene and also the opening montage with Gwen in Spider-Verse. Both the conversation with mom and the conversation with dad and All of Us Strangers absolutely rip your heart out. The ambulance chase where Margot Martindale eats it in Cocaine Bear is fantastic comedy. The Man Eater cover in No Hard Feelings where Andrew Barth Feldman's just singing at the piano is also just incredible. The stairwell scene in John Wick, the airport chase in Mission Impossible, I think is even better than the train sequence in Mission Impossible, but I put them both on there. The sex scene in Beau is Afraid is fantastic. Parker Posey and Joaquin Phoenix, that whole commentary it makes about
I saw her boobs.
That whole scene, just kind of the thesis of the film. Party scene in Talk to Me where Joe Bird's character gets possessed is very harrowing.
Oh my god.
Total Eclipse of the Heart where they're egging the house and then the bomb goes off in Bottoms is amazing. And then the opening sequence of The Taste of Things is just one of the most perfect scenes in cinema. Any other scenes, Chad, for you?
Well, shoot.
We're starting with Matt, then we're going Dylan, then we're going Chad.
Talk to Me. Best horror movie of the year. But yeah, I was actually going to go with maybe the big action sequence, like one tracking action sequence from Guardians.
The No Sleep Till
I think you picked actually the better sequence at the end. And then there was another one I was going to. So let me think about that, and you can come back to me.
All right, Carly.
Yeah. So one of my picks was the end of Across the Spider-Verse where they're revealing, because I was the last person to get that reveal ever, and it was such a good moment. Yes. The Rocket Raccoon scene where like he's saving the little baby raccoons and then he like reclaims the name. It gets to me every time. The cat scene from the Marvels in which the cats are amazing. Love it. And so this would have been my pick, but I didn't know how to talk about it without spoiling it.
Yes.
The last scene from the Iron Claw just destroyed me. So good.
Yeah, Dan. Any other honorable mentions for
you mentioned so many great ones, Dylan. So I'm gonna refrain from. And I already kind of said the running of chasing through holdover. So
Matt, any honorable mentions for scene?
I as I said, I only mentioned one. I only wrote down one, but there's a fight scene in Succession, the final season of Succession between Matthew McFadden and Sarah Snook that earned them both and earned their they were the best two performances on TV, in my opinion, during that scene. I don't remember what episode, but that's what I'm saying. I will also say that I wish I had a trigger warning for the crash in Ferrari, because there is a thing that triggers me that happened in that I was like, oh god.
Yeah, I did mention in my review the trailer does show it, but it's hard to get it from the trailer that it's going to happen. And then it's so haunting that I didn't want to talk about it, but I should have triggered warning you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't blame anybody for not, but when I saw it, it put like I felt sick to my stomach. That scene. So
all right, we'll go with MVP for Chad.
Can I just real quick? The opening sequence of The Killer, where he's like, talking up himself and his skills, and then he fucks up, and it's amazing.
Chad using the profanity with Elliot on his lap. I love it. It's going over his head. Hey, I don't care. All right, Chad. Any other MVPs for you, Chad?
Nah.
All right, Carly.
So I had one on my list, but the other ones that came to my mind were Jason Schwartzman, because he's been in a lot this year. Hunger Games, Across the Spider-Verse. Pedro Pascal, because I love him. He's so good. And Margot Robbie, because I love her.
Yeah. Dan?
Yeah, just Lily Gladstone. I saw 3 movies with Lily Gladstone. She was going to be my only third one. If everybody picked, obviously I knew you were going to pick that one, Dylan, and then I was like, well, I'm going to go with Bradley Cooper. I left Lily Gladstone. America Ferrera is in two great performances for America Ferrera and Dumb Money and Barbie this past year. So those two, Lily and America.
Cool. Matt, any honorable mentions for MVPs?
I mentioned Paul Giamatti and how I was sad that I couldn't pick him because I picked Divine. Cillian Murphy, obviously great. Robert Downey Jr., I think he's also getting a bit of undue backlash from that, because I think it's the most subtle and nuanced performance he's ever given. And I just really loved it. I really love that performance. And Alden Ehrenreich, who has been great in 2 films this year.
Cocaine Bear, Fair Play.
I haven't seen Cocaine Bear, so I forgot about
Cocaine Bear, Fair Play, and Oppenheimer. But that's the thing; he's like so good. He keeps popping up and shit. My MVPs: Io Edebiri, Jason Schwartzman, as Carly mentioned, Spider-Verse, Asteroid City, Quiz Lady, and Hunger Games. Great repertoire that year. Bradley Cooper, Alden Ehrenreich. Issa Rae, who was great in Barbie, in American Fiction, and in Spider-Verse. Coleman Domingo with Rustin in Color Purple was great. Jacob Elordi. I don't know
why I didn't put him on my
list.
Jacob
Elordi having a great year with Salt and Priscilla. And a big one that is technically an MVP, even though she's not an actress. Suri Fields went on, gave the most dominant Traders performance ever on the Traders, and then went on Big Brother, and for a while was having one of the most dominant Big Brother games of all time, after coming off of 4 seasons of Survivor. So I wanted to shout out her. If Io
votes against her on Big Brother, 0 votes against her on Traders.
Yes, I hope I didn't spoil it.
She's been very very impressive. She was the reality contestant of the year, the GOAT. So if Io had been stolen, I would have picked Suri as my MVP.
That would have been so cool.
Not a fan of hers, Dylan, from Survivor. I don't like her at all.
Well, Dan, we agree to disagree. It's okay.
Austin Rob is the best ever.
Okay, Boston Rob
like her.
Rupert is my favorite. Boston Rob is second favorite, but Suri Fields is becoming my third favorite.
All right, we can have this conversation off air, but this was really fun. Most anticipated. I forgot. Carly, most anticipated.
So I only had 2 that weren't picked. For Joker 2. Sorry, Dale. I'm excited. I'm excited for it because I like that first one. And
each their own.
The musical. I mean, I'm always
but it's the same director. It's gonna be.
I know, but and my other one that I really wanted to talk about, Wicked. I really hope this makes a ton of money.
A musical by a good director. I'm
very excited for it.
Dan, any other honorable mentions?
Yeah, I liked the Bike Riders. I was so upset when they moved the Bike Riders, Mike Nichols, to 2024. But that cast, oh god, I cannot wait for a movie about bikes, motorcycle gang. That looks just Easy Rider vibes all day. And Nosferatu, dang it, man, they moved Nosferatu to Christmas. That was supposed to come out like March, April. Now I gotta wait till damn Christmas for Nosferatu. I love it. I know. I cannot wait.
Matt, any honorable mentions for 2024?
I only wrote the two Zendaya movies down, and it's not that I'm a big fan of hers. It's just she happened to be in the two.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the other things you guys mentioned, I'm also excited about. So.
Yeah, I considered Hitman, but because a lot of people had seen it in 2023, I was like, it's a little bit of a cheat. The new Linklater film I'm really excited for. Inside Out 2, Furiosa, the new Mickey 17 by Bong Joon-ho, which I know was taken off the release schedule, but I think it's only because it's going to come out of Cannes, so they wanted to push it. But Maxine, which a little less excitement now after the news, but Mother's Instinct, which was filmed at my childhood home, which is very cool. So I'm very excited to see Jessica Chastain and Hathaway in that. Chad, any other honorable mentions for 2024?
Yeah, pretty much everything you said. Deadpool 3, Beetlejuice 2. What is the other horror? The Wolfman.
Yes, that's the Christopher Abbott one I was referring to.
Yeah.
Oh, Furiosa. Did we mention? Yeah, I mentioned that.
You said that. Yeah.
Furiosa. I forgot. I had to mention it because I would have gotten killed.
Wednesday season 2. I cannot wait for Wednesday season 2.
That's going to be exciting too. Yes, of course I'm excited for reasons. But thank you all so much. This was great. I have to tune out. I really can't say much longer. So we will do any sort of plugs. If you want to plug yourself in the comments below, I know Dan has a lot of great stuff going on. These three also are on the channel so much. Chad, Carly, and Matt. So please go check out all their stuff and please you all post your stuff in the comments so people can see. But otherwise, thank you so much. Go vote. And this has been a pleasure as always. Yeah. Woohoo.